So next we got SmackDown, the SmackDown show, and opened up with JBL arriving with Jillian and her mole. And he said there was no better way to start 2006 than to beat the biggest jobber in SmackDown history, Matt Hardy. They had a Falls Count Anywhere match, which Matt Hardy lost. I'm sure you're all stunned. So, hell of a year for Matt Hardy. And my only thought during this match, really, aside from why am I watching this again, and why are there ladders and such in the opener of SmackDown, was if they paid more money in 2005 to repair limos than they actually paid Matt Hardy.
Well, I suppose it's possible. This is every hardcore match you ever saw. The finish was the big bump for Matt off the ladder onto the hood of the limo, and then he got pinned, and that was the end of him. But that was not the end of the segment.
No.
There was more to come.
Yes.
Someone showed up.
Go on.
All right, I will.
I'm giving you a chance here, Vince, to speak.
I don't want a chance to speak.
Speak.
All right, I will. So as JBL was celebrating, the mysterious red smoke started to pop out of the limo, and then the Boogeyman's music played, and then the Boogeyman came out. And what I will tell you what happened, and then realize that this took about 5 minutes to occur. Boogeyman stalked JBL and Jillian Hall down to a corner of the ring. JBL tried to flee. Boogeyman grabbed Jillian and put worms in her skirt.
Actually, no. He grabbed her leg, and JBL grabbed her arms, and they were playing tug-of-war. And Boogeyman won by growling.
Him. Yes.
He scared JBL into letting go.
Correction, he scurred him.
He scurred him. And then, yes, he put worms down her panties. And Michael Cole, by the way, has given up on calling him Nightcrawler, so he must have gotten yelled at after chastising Taz for that very mention. But, yes, this feud must continue. The Boogeyman and JBL.
Yeah.
Royal Rumble, kids.
Royal Rumble. Remember Boogeyman and who did we see him wrestle that first time? Oh, it was Lashley.
Oh, God. Lashley and the Boogeyman for 2 minutes was ungodly awful.
Oh, yes.
And this... how's Royal Rumble even going to last? Everything's going to have to be 2 minutes. The Batista-Mark Henry match cannot go longer than 2 minutes. I have determined this.
Yeah.
Impossible. So then we had, speaking of, Mark Henry and 3 jobbers. And he beat them up, and he pinned them. 1, 2, 3, each of them.
Welcome to 1986.
That's right. Ball's in your court there, Holmes.
Oh, more? Okay. I will say that at least these jobbers look like jobbers. I've mentioned before, especially after watching the Road Warriors DVD. Back in the day, jobbers looked like the worst selection of the fans they could find and slapped in gear and put in the ring. And for a while now, they've been using indie guys as jobbers, and they're large, athletic, tanned men with gear. And these guys were goofs with no tan and bad haircut, and they made Mark Henry look like a killer. And
you had the rip-off Jeff Hardy, the rip-off Lance Storm, and Gus Harlatcher,
yes.
Which actually may have been one of the 2 I just mentioned. I don't remember what the third guy looked like. But
we need more guys named Gus.
Gus Harlatcher was, and Rob Ecos were 2 of the men involved. And
that's right, because Rob Ecos sold the finish was basically the Henry doing Yokozuna's bonsai drop to the back, and Rob Ecos sold this by grabbing his back and screaming and screaming, and I determined I want to see Mark Ecos lose squash matches.
Rob Ecos.
Whatever. I want to see this man lose squash matches every week on SmackDown.
There you go. You know, I was thinking, Vince, when you, for the about third time tonight, missed an obvious cue that I was giving you. I think you've got like you can only be good for so much time during each month.
Probably.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You've got
a finite amount of talent.
Exactly, and you used all of it up on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And now you're just back to the old Vince.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have to put up with 25 more days of it. I'm not sure I can handle this.
I thought you were going to say 25 more minutes at first.
I'm actually being nice enough to say that it's a finite amount of talent for the month. I could have said the year.
That's true.
If you used all of the year up on Tuesday, I don't know what I'm going to do.
It'll be a long 2006.
I will start auditioning like Vince McMahon for a new GM.
And we all know how well that search is going.
Yeah, I'll do a better job than Vince, though.
That's probably true.
Then, What's-Her-Face came out, Melina, and she was doing her same bullshit deal about... Actually, what she basically said was, Batista molested me, and Mark Henry's here to protect me. But this took 9 minutes.
Yeah.
No less than 9 minutes.
9 boring, slow minutes.
It's killing me. It's bad enough as it is, but I don't need it to drag out
the
badness. So then we had a meeting with Orton and the T's, and they were arguing about what had happened last week. And Orton said, "Your wife fucked me over." And the wife said, "Well, you were going to lose. I saved you from humiliation by, of course, hitting Benoit with the crutch." So anyway, both parties agreed that they would have another match. And it is now fucked. They've ruined... I was fine with one replacement, because you have one replacement match and everything works out just fine. You end up with a best-of-7 series where both guys end up with 3 wins each, even though one guy technically won. You have to have the sudden death match, something of that nature. Now it's gotten to the point where you've now had a replacement in 2 of the best-of-7 matches, and next week they promised that the best-of-7 series was going to end with the 3rd Benoit versus Orton match.
Yeah.
That was going to determine the best-of-7 Booker versus Benoit series. So they have managed in 1 week, by overbooking this, to kill what had been great.
And the weird thing is, we all thought they were doing the finals of the Royal Rumble.
Yes, now it's on free TV.
That's on free TV, so we don't know why they couldn't have just put a pause in this thing for 2 weeks.
So, obviously, I just picture something totally retarded happening, like Benoit wins clean, and then Teddy Long comes out and says, "Wait a second, you didn't beat Booker T in this thing, we're going to have another match at the Royal Rumble," in which I will just say, well, why didn't you think about that in the first place? I just know there's going to be something stupid next week. And this was so easy. This was so easy, and they fucked it up.
Fuckers.
Yeah. I don't know what else to say about it. So, anyway, then we had Ken Kennedy coming out, and he's down about 30 pounds. He's lost all of his charisma. He did commentary and sucked.
He was annoying.
He did the worst commentary. First, he said, it was Kid Cash and Hoovy for the Cruiserweight title, and in the middle of it, he just goes, "These Cruiserweights are exclusive to SmackDown." And then he paused for a minute and he goes, "Right?" And I thought, that was not even supposed to be comedy. He was just stupid. And it went on from there, and just...
His other line that was my favorite was when he said, "I was a cruiserweight when I was 12.
All right.
That was...
Both were bad.
Yes.
Your delivery on that one was also awful.
Thank you.
I don't know if it could have possibly been delivered correctly. So, actually, Craig's going to kill me for saying this, but that's a Craig joke. Right there. Craig, God bless him, he's always telling jokes, but I think he's got about 9 jokes, and he just repeats them over and over again.
And we've mentioned Craig and Jay Leno may, in fact, be the same person.
Craig, that was a compliment right there, so please don't beat us up. So, anyway, all I got to say is Hoovy had a hell of a match on the way out, but now he's gone.
Bye, Hoovy. We'll miss you.
Yep, see you, dude.
I'll miss you.
So, that was the end of that.
Most people will not miss you, actually. At least not with the company.
Yeah. Crystal interviewed the T's. Actually, everyone's going to miss Hoovy, except everyone will miss him. In some way, he will be missed. You know what I mean?
I see your point, I guess.
If I fired you and hired someone with talent, in some small way, you'd be missed by everybody.
I guess.
Yeah. In a weird sort of way, you know what I mean?
It would be very weird.
People would miss making fun of you. They would miss you being dumb and making them feel smarter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of the Hoovy thing. How's that for a backhanded compliment?
You compare me to Hooventude.
No, well, yeah, sort of.
See? Just stop right there and move on.
Fine. He once got naked and ran around in a fit of...
I was thinking about most of the wrestling matches he's had that were really good. Remember we saw him against Blitzkrieg?
No. Crystal interviewed the T's, and Orlando Jordan walked up. He was very upset that they were making fun of him and telling him to tap his ass out again, and he said that he was tired of hearing this, he deserved respect. And he claimed he'd held the U.S. title for longer than Booker T or Chris Benoit, which has to be a lie. And Booker said, if you want respect, you must earn it. So he said, fine, I will, but remember you said that. And y'all know what that means. Batista went backstage and gave this statement, and Batista's a hell of an actor. He really is.
Yeah.
He was very great. Just being the average celebrity who does something stupid and has to make a statement. I'm innocent of these charges, he said, and he was speaking of such when up came Mark Henry, and they got face-to-face, and Mark Henry, for the second show in a row, threatened to rape a man.
Mm-hmm.
He basically said, how would you feel if I did this to you? And Dave told him to get out of his face, and that was the end of that. So they've done a pretty damn good job building this up, but it's going to lead to a match, which is always the flaw in these plans.
It's excellent execution of a stupid idea.
Yeah. Then we had Benoit versus Orton with the T's doing commentary, so once again, the best segment on the show.
Yeah.
And Charmel tried to interfere very early on, and this made not only Chris Benoit mad, but Randy Orton mad as well. So Randy Orton told on her, and she was ejected. So the match went on, and it was a good match, a usual good match. Not as good as usual, since they didn't give it a whole lot of time, because there was other things on the show, I guess, that needed a lot of time. And Orlando Jordan finally hit the ring, clonked Benoit with Booker's crutch. He actually fell down and missed the first time, and so he lunged to do it the second time. This was all edited. And the second time, he just whacked Benoit in the ear, like you've never seen. Benoit was bleeding from the ear, but he survived because he's Chris Benoit. And so it was a DQ. So now we've had, 2 replacement matches, 2 of which have been DQ wins for Chris Benoit. A third match with Orton, which will determine whether Booker T gets the belt. This is just ruined.
Yeah.
Utterly ruined.
Garbage. The only thing that did make sense is Orton was happy when Charmel got kicked out because, in his mind, she got him DQ'd last week.
Yeah, that's the point. That's why he tattled on her.
Yes. So at least that made sense.
Thanks for filling us in.
I look for little pieces of light where I can find them.
Which were repetition of what I said.
I don't pay attention to you, though.
That's patently obvious. Simon Dean came out and cut a promo saying 2006 would be the year of the Simon system. Challenged any 2 wrestlers to fight. Out came Spanky and Paul London, the 2 biggest jobbers. And biggest pussies, since they were the only 2 men to accept beating up one man who was a heel.
That's true.
And Simon said, well, you guys have screwed up. It's actually not going to be me you're wrestling. It's going to be my new signees, the Gemini.
The Gemini.
The Gemini.
With a Y, you see, like in gymnasium.
Like Gemini.
Yes, that too.
The twins. The Gemini.
Yes.
Please tell me you got that, Vince.
Yes, I get it, you idiot.
Did you get it when they mentioned it?
Yes, I got it, you idiot.
But you're the one trying to explain a Y at the end. Like, what the fuck?
No, it's at the beginning.
Yeah.
It's not Gemini, it's Gemini.
Yeah, Gemini. Like, they go to the gym and they're twins.
Yes.
The Gemini.
Yes.
That's the creative team for you, kids. So they came out and they murdered the 2 young men.
Oh, they did.
And I actually am wondering if the Gemini is a worse gimmick, actually, than the Penis Brothers.
I hadn't thought of that until right now. It may be. I was just thinking about how dead Mr. Kendrick and Mr. London are.
Sure.
They were brutally, brutally beaten.
I already knew they were dead, so I didn't get that out of this.
It sucks to be them.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
Then we had something that was so dumb. As stupid as it was for Bobby Lashley to be pinned at the Survivor Series, this may have been dumber.
This was dumber. I will say this was dumber.
He cut a promo saying he was going to be in the Rumble, and he was honored, and he wanted to win and go face Dave for the belt at WrestleMania. And this was like a nervous 12-year-old child cutting this promo. And Bobby Lashley, his career's over. Neutered. Just so dead. Whoever thought this was a good idea probably should be canned.
Immediately.
Whoever saw this and okayed it probably should be canned.
They had 72 hours to take it off the show.
Sure, and they might as well just can Bobby Lashley since he's done now. But
yeah,
my God, that was bad. That was so bad.
It was brutal.
Then Big Dave and Ray Jr. faced Eminem in a cage match. All 4 guys in the ring. A lot of clusterfuck potential, but it was actually a very good match. They beat up the good guys forever, and they finally made a big comeback. And speaking of forever, out came Mark Henry, who actually took 3 minutes at the tapings to tear the door off the hinges, at which point men were mocking him for being the world's shittiest, strongest man. And he finally broke in, took another 3 minutes to actually get in the ring under the bottom rope. All of this was edited beautifully on the show, by the way. Although, when you watched it, you could just tell from looking at Big Dave that it was a time standing still moment. So, he finally got in the cage. He beat up Batista. This all went on about
forever.
9 minutes. And finally, he beat them up. He climbed onto the top, or actually, he threw Nitro on top of Ray to pin him, as if that was even necessary. Climbed up on top of the cage, pounded his breast like King Kong, and the show ended.
I was waiting for a biplane to fly by.
Yes, that's all that was missing.
Didn't happen. The big spot in this was Rey Mysterio at one point did a dive off the top of the cage, and Nitro and Mercury were standing in the middle of the ring together. And I said, well, sure, he's going to dive off on both of them. That makes sense. And suddenly Mercury shoved Nitro out of the way.
Yes.
And he caught Rey by himself, and I was just confused.
That was very dumb his part. I would not have okayed that spot, really. And I think Rey probably thought, because he crossed himself before he jumped off, and the Lord thankfully helped catch him. But, yeah, that was something else. So, anyway, that was SmackDown show, Vince. Any final thoughts on it? Will I do a correction here in the report?
Not the worst show ever. Not a good show. You didn't miss anything. If you didn't see the show, you didn't miss anything. And not an all-time horrible show either. Things are continuing along.
So now let's get to the SmackDown show, which I will say this to preview the whole deal here. I actually had more fun following it transpire live on Tuesday night than I actually had watching it on TV. There was much more excitement Tuesday night.
Yeah, well, there's no question about that. Because the actual watching it wasn't too exciting. Just the excitement of not knowing what was going to happen. This is a horrible speech I'm giving.
It is.
Save me.
It is. I don't know if it was because we knew it was going to happen, or if our imagination putting the spoilers together was just better than what actually transpired or what the deal was. I don't know if watching it live without knowing what would have happened would have been as exciting as the spoilers, if that makes any sense. If we had not known what was going to happen, watching on TV, I don't think would have been as exciting as... I see. So, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's actually quite possible. Imagination sometimes can be more powerful than the human eye.
Yeah, that was... I don't even know what to say about that, Vince. That was the deepest thing you've ever said. But,
let's go with the show.
Shut up!
I just wanted to throw that one in there.
Wow.
Really
you can never let me get too high, can you?
I saw Vince shut up and I had to click it. I don't know why. So Big Dave came out in a fat white suit.
Oh, yes.
And it was funny because Teddy Long was wearing a white suit too, and his was not nearly as fat.
No.
The man makes the suit. That's the answer to the age-old question. So anyway, he came out and he vacated the title, and he was very sad.
Oh, yes.
And it was a very sad moment, really, to see Big Dave, after all these months, give the belt up, and I don't know. We're going to miss him.
We will miss Big Dave. It would have been harder to watch live, but just watching it and knowing how hard he's worked. You know, we've seen Big Dave going back to when he was Leviathan with the chain coming out of the Ohio River.
Did he come out of the river with a chain?
I don't remember that. He wore a chain, and he did come out of the Ohio River. The point is, we've seen this guy for a long time.
I don't even remember the chain, really.
Okay, listen. He had one.
All right.
He was Leviathan. Just work with me here. And now he's hurt his arm again. And who knows? You know, he said he'll be back. And frankly, I can't imagine he won't be back to do something. But he, as a full-timer, who knows if he'll be back again. And it was sad.
There were women. Well, actually, there was
one woman who was.
There may have been more, but they found a good one, and they kept on her.
And to be fair, she was sobbing enough for all the women, perhaps in the WWE fan base.
Yes.
This one was disconsolate, just heartbroken, devastated.
We did hear from people live that there were women crying, so I will assume that there was more than one. But like I said, they picked a good one.
Oh, yes.
And kept going back to her. So he vacated the belt. Teddy Long said his little deal. There's going to be a battle royal tonight. The winner gets the title, that sort of thing. They cut to backstage. Batista was saying goodbye to everybody, including the last man he said goodbye to was Rey.
Mm-hmm.
And it appears they may be building towards Rey getting the belt at some point, because Batista pretty much said, you know, how would that belt fit around your waist? So I would not be surprised if Rey was in the main event for the title at WrestleMania, but I don't know this.
I was just going to say, if I was booking it, that's what I would do. And if I was a betting man, I would bet that's what they're going to do.
I thought he was going to win in the Battle Royal, actually. And now that I think about it, it may be a better deal because, you know, him and Angle would have an awesome match at WrestleMania.
Plus, they can build to it.
That's right. And it would be great.
It would be great.
Something about that statement just threw me off right there, Vince. I don't know what it was.
Well, it's just the whole, you know, think about it. The WrestleMania main event should be, A, it should be a great match, but B, it should be something special. And they have Angle, presumably, let's assume Angle's going to be the champion going into Mania. Who do they have to challenge him? They could have Benoit. It'd be very good, but we've seen the match before, and we've seen Benoit win his title before, so I don't know if it would necessarily be special.
It won't be Benoit no matter what.
Okay, well, same thing for Orton. And then you just go down the list of guys who would not be fun to watch at all, like JBL.
Well, they did also
Taker.
sort of build towards the potential of Orton getting it because he did get fucked out of the Battle Royal.
Yes, they did.
And they made a big deal out of that, so that also is a possibility.
That's a possibility. I would guess, and that's the key word is guess, that Orton will get the title shot at No Way Out, and then they'll save Rey for Mania, because, frankly, I think Rey Mysterio challenging for the world title
Is
at
No Way Out
WrestleMania-
SmackDown?
Yes.
All right, just checking.
I think. Pretty sure. If it's not, strike that last statement from the record. But yeah, that's what I would do.
So then we had, what is No Way Out? There was an argument about this the
It's
other day.
SmackDown. It's SmackDown because Eddie beat Brock there.
Yeah, but I suggested something. What did I suggest?
Was this after you knew that Kurt was world champion?
No, this was before. This was last week. I made some sort of prediction.
Oh, I think it was back to Vince screwing Shawn.
That's right, and I said, what did I say?
I don't remember. They could do it at Rumble instead or something.
Okay, so it is SmackDown. All right,
Yeah.
shut up. All right, then we had the Orton versus Benoit in the final match of the Benoit Booker T Best of 7 series for the undisputed title.
They kept throwing the word undisputed in there, and I laughed harder every time because there's never been a more disputed championship win ever.
It has to be playing into the storyline.
Probably.
Otherwise, they're just absolutely stupid. Because
maybe that too.
this is the most disputed title in some time. And really, I will say this. Last week, I really buried the whole deal because I thought they totally fucked it up. I thought one replacement was fine, but once Orton started replacing him every week, it just sort of screwed everything up. Mm-hmm. And then when they actually did this, where Orton beat Benoit to give Booker the title, so Orton got screwed out of the Battle Royal and won the match but didn't win the belt. Booker won the belt without even wrestling 3 matches. Benoit lost the series despite beating Booker T more times, I think.
No, but
Anyway, the whole point was it ended up fucking...
almost everyone over.
It ended up setting up about 17 matches.
Well, that's true.
It ended up about 17 storylines are coming out of this. So at least from that perspective, the only thing is that this requires the writing crew to keep track of all 17 storylines, which you just know they're going to fuck up monumentally. All they're going to do is they're going to go 3-weight Royal Rumble.
Yeah, probably.
and everything else will be forgotten.
Yes. I was watching this thinking the same thing. This series is fucked up, so I don't really care about it anymore. And so I was just watching the match, and I don't know how many times we can say this, but Chris Benoit only has good matches.
Yeah.
Just constantly.
It was very good match.
And I think, I don't know if necessarily Chris Benoit is, you could argue he's the best wrestler ever. You could argue, or best wrestler around right now. You could argue someone else is. I would say that he's definitely the most consistent because Chris Benoit at his worst is better than Kurt Angle at his worst, or Rey Mysterio at his worst. So if you judge everyone just by their bad matches, Chris Benoit's are still great.
Maybe. I don't know if Angle's bad matches are usually something has gone horribly awry. Mm-hmm. And Benoit's had those, but he hasn't had a whole lot of them.
They're legendary.
They are legendary. But I suppose you could argue that, but
just a thought I was kicking around.
I don't know. So Benoit is very good, I think.
That is my summary, yes.
No
Chris Benoit is a good wrestler. That's what I was trying to say.
Chris Benoit's awesome. So take that.
Oh.
Then we had something happen. I don't know.
You have the notes.
Roddy Piper and JBL and Jillian's Mole had a segment, and I don't know. For those of you that don't know, Boogeyman ate Jillian Hall's mole off her face.
He bit it off her face and then chewed it up and swallowed it.
And that's making this whole thing a lot shorter than it actually was. But all I got to say is, because it involved the Boogeyman, I just thought nothing of it. You know what I mean?
It didn't occur to you how stupid it was?
I mean, okay, here's what I'll say. About a week ago, or maybe 2 weeks ago, there was a rumor about Boogeyman eating Jillian Hall's mole. Mm-hmm. And I immediately thought, bullshit. No way. That's too stupid. Then I started to think, and I was like, wait a second. I can see somebody backstage making this suggestion, and somebody else saying, okay.
Sure, and apparently they did.
And then I read about it, and everybody was like, oh, there's going to be a wrestle crap moment for sure. And then I watched it, and it was just like, he ate her mole. I don't know. It was just, I guess I expect such absurdities with the Boogeyman. This was just, it was nothing out of the ordinary. I don't know. I just watched it. It was over. I moved on with my life. I didn't think, my God, this was great, or my God, this was stupid. It was just like, Boogeyman ate her mole. Let me write that down. Okay, what's next?
I've done my job now.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, it was just an odd segment to an odd feud. And the other comment I had is that Roddy Piper was actually really good here because he wasn't there to get himself over. He was there to get JBL and Boogeyman over, and he did. And by and large, he let JBL rant for a long time, and he ran him down a little bit, called out the Boogeyman, and then just stood in the corner and watched.
And then prayed.
And then at the end, when Boogeyman was advancing on him, he read the Lord's Prayer.
Yes.
So.
Yep, Boogeyman ate her mole. I guess she's going to come out with clean skin now. I don't fucking know. But I guess now would be a good time to talk about Ric Flair and Edge, since people have been talking about this. And the match is going to take place on Monday. And I was reminded of this when we were talking about ideas the creative team had.
I see. I was wondering how you were making the segue.
Well, somebody apparently had this idea of doing Edge and Ric Flair in a TLC match.
No.
You didn't know this? Where have you fucking been, dude?
At a football game.
Okay, I'm going to turn on your mic for a second. Everyone knows the story but you, so we'll just leave you out of this for now. Edge and Ric Flair are going to have a TLC match. This was actually on WWE.com about 3 days ago, maybe 2 days ago, which is why I'm flabbergasted that you know nothing about this and you've been turned down. So anyway, this appeared on the website, and so everyone started thinking, no, this can't be. This is too absurd. They can't possibly do this. Well, what happened was somebody came up with the idea of Edge and Ric Flair in a TLC match, and there are a lot of people on the writing crew and such, Stephanie and underlings and that sort of thing. And everybody who's listening to this right now and thinking, well, Edge has a torn pec. Perhaps this match is dangerous. And Ric Flair is 56 with a broken back and a broken neck, and he ain't taking any bumps off a ladder safely. That's probably not a good idea. And just the fact that Edge and Ric Flair ever in a TLC match would be a bad idea. All of these things were brought up, and the match is still happening. Because Edge, having just won the title, is not in a position where he's going to say no to anything. So he basically just said he'd do whatever. And so the folks in charge just basically said, well, Edge said he'd do it, so we're going to do it. And so Edge and Ric Flair in a TLC match is taking place Monday. I've turned you back up now.
It's over. The company is over. They're doomed.
No, this is just another piece of stupidity.
They're doing
giant.
The last bit there may have been the stupidest part of it, where you announced they're doing it Monday.
Yeah, Monday.
I don't know. I like to think I pay attention to wrestling, and this is the first I've heard of it.
Well, it doesn't matter because they're going head-to-head with UFC. They've got to put a lot of things on the show, you see. I actually don't know if the TLC match was just because of UFC, because really there's not been the same sort of insanity that there was last week. And in fact, about a week ago, I was talking to somebody in WWE who was unaware of the whole UFC thing. So I'm hoping that to this day Vince is still unaware, and these are just all coincidences, because I don't need him flipping out again like the last time they went head-to-head. But, yeah, UFC is Monday, so I guess they've got to have a lot of insanity.
Well, I have a prediction on the Ric Flair-Edge TLC match.
It'll suck.
It'll suck.
That's right. You heard it here first, kids. It's going to suck.
That's the kind of insight you get in this program.
That's right.
Hard-hitting analysis.
So then
It will suck.
Shut up!
Thank you. Talk about killing a joke. That was the equivalent of the match we saw in Ohio Valley.
It may have been.
It was funny when at the same time we both said, it'll suck. Mm-hmm. Then you had to add, that's the sort of insight you're going to get on this show. It'll suck. We give you that sort of insight here. It sucks. That is a sucky idea. He just kept going, you know what I mean? So we had to add the comedy of Vince going,
shut up!
And then we added, we tried to save the gag there. There we go. Can you hear that loud humming? That's the fan on my computer.
It's because I put the microphone down.
Oh, so that's your fault.
It is. See here, I'll do it again.
Fucking so retarded. Stop playing around.
All right.
We got the Battle Royal next. There was a long pause after number 19 was announced. Number 19 was Rey Mysterio Jr., by the way. And out came Kurt Angle to an odd reaction. It was not quite as overwhelming as I had been led to believe. And I should note that everybody who was there said he got an overwhelming reaction. So I'm thinking that maybe sound didn't come across well. Perhaps the arena was mic'd badly. I don't know what the deal was, but he didn't come off as an overwhelming superstar like everybody said he did at the taping. So I don't know what happened there, and oddly enough, this was a post-produced show.
Yes, you'd think they'd be louder.
So anyway, he came out and immediately threw out JBL, and they had a battle royal. Basically, the story of the match was Angle threw out a bunch of people, and Mark Henry threw out a bunch of people. Angle then got press slammed onto the table by Mark Henry and was left, I guess, incapacitated. He'd rolled underneath the bottom rope, so he wasn't eliminated. Ray and Mark Henry did some stuff, and Mark Henry eliminated him. Melina went crazy thinking he'd won. Angle hit the ring, and they ended up having a match. Now, I'm saying this mostly for Bix, because I know he's listening, and other people who have suddenly come to the conclusion that Mark Henry is a great worker. Mm-hmm. I've seen a lot of Mark Henry, and I've seen a good deal of Mark Henry lately. Mark Henry is not much better than he was in 1996.
Oh.
Mark Henry is better than Giant Singh,
Heidenreich,
Snitsky. I don't know. I'd rather watch Snitsky, so I don't know what that tells you. But Mark Henry is great at just standing there.
Yes.
Mark Henry did a lot of standing there and had Kurt Angle and Rey Mysterio bounce off of him.
Literally.
And he did a lot of stumbling around and not selling. In no way would I classify Mark Henry as a good worker. Because Mark Henry was... I mean, the stuff with Ray was all right, and the stuff with Angle was all right, but Angle and Mark Henry are not going to have a good match. And it's not because Kurt Angle sucks. This is the way I think everybody needs to look at this. Especially people in WWE who have hired Tatanka. If a man comes in and has a great match with Kurt Angle or Shawn Michaels, don't hire them on the spot. Because it may not be them. I'm probably going out on a limb here, but if I see 50 Kurt Angle matches, 49 of them are probably going to be good. Mm-hmm. If I see 50 Mark Henry matches, there's a good chance that 49 of them are going to be bad, and the one good one's going to be with Kurt Angle.
Yes.
And it's not going to be because on that one day, Mark Henry carried Kurt Angle. There's a piece of the puzzle here that is what's the word? Consistent in all of these deals. If Kurt Angle seems to be having a great match with 15 different men, and the 15 different men only have one good match, and it's always with Kurt Angle, what the hell does that tell you?
Apparently nothing.
I guess you would think so, based on certain things that I've read. But so anyway, that's what I'm going to say. Mark Henry looked... He did not look awful. I will give him that. He did not look horrible.
Which is an improvement.
It is an improvement. But again, he was in the ring with Rey Mysterio and Kurt Angle this evening. Mm-hmm. So yes, of course you're going to have one of the better matches of Mark Henry's fucking career.
Yeah.
Now, when we have to see Mark Henry having a 5-minute match with Sylvan...
I was just going to say
or
Sylvan.
really anybody on the whole entire SmackDown roster that is not Rey Mysterio, Chris Benoit, or Kurt Angle, I guarantee he ain't going to look this good. I don't think we did.
Are we going to discuss SmackDown?
What do you mean? In the middle of the show? Oh, you mean we can't... I thought you meant in the middle of Dancing with the Stars.
No, I'm in the middle of our show.
Oh, I'm well aware she's stolen the show. We can't top
That's
that.
my point. We should stop now.
People are going to be clamoring for us to just quit and let Granny interview everybody.
Really, everyone, just stop listening because nothing is going to be as good as that segment was.
Goodness gracious. She told the tennis racket story. That's a true story. I tripped over a racket and broke my arm. 7th grade.
Granny.
Yeah, and that got me into... God, what the hell did that get me into? I don't know if that
cast?
was... Well, yeah, that, you idiot, but... Anyway.
Didn't we just say you're not supposed to use that word?
To Cliff, he's 4.
He may be listening.
And you're a known idiot, so it's okay.
How dare you?
Everybody knows. It's no secret.
Why do I do this show?
Because.
Why do I hang out with you?
Because.
Where's that wine?
There's a reason. There's some sort of... There's something in you that needs this. I haven't fully...
Even you don't know.
No, I haven't... You're like the other Vince McMahon, just not as fucked up, so...
I guess that's good.
By the way, Granny had a little talking to with me today. We went to eat at Las Margaritas, and she was talking about the show and threatened to buy a big can of beer and open up and that sort of thing. And then she said, "Wish you wouldn't use so many swear words." It was like the old dude in Big Lebowski. I wish you wouldn't have to use so many cuss words.
And how did the dude reply?
What the fuck?
What the fuck are you talking about?
That's right. Anyway, I tried to explain to Granny that, in fact, she's the only 75-year-old person on the board, and everyone else is in the 25 to 30-year-old age range. So, plus the fact I just can't fucking help myself. You know what I mean? So
it's just a foul-mouthed, evil little man.
I'm not evil, but, the chances of me being able to stop using such language is slim. So, what's a 75-year-old woman doing listening to this show anyway? You know what I mean?
She's your granny, and she loves you.
It's on the internet. She shouldn't be able to figure this out.
Well, that's true.
So anyway, that's how I'd bring it
I
out
blame
there.
Tony.
I would like to publicly apologize to Granny, but I ain't changing, so sorry. I'll say.
That was great.
If it means I can keep my status as your grandson, then I apologize. But let's move on here. SmackDown. I'm already just out of energy, you know what I mean?
Let's call Granny again.
I've reached my peak, and it's all downhill from here anyway, so.
Let's just go through the results and go home.
JBL beat Blaster Lashley. Sucked.
No, I didn't.
Huh? Oh, JBL faced him. See, I'm done. You go.
JBL wrestled Blaster Lashley. He hit the clothesline from hell, and then the Boogeyman came out, so JBL got scared, and somehow in this great cloud of red smoke that had enveloped the arena, Blaster Lashley managed to find JBL and hit the Dominator and pin him. So
Yes.
They kind of protected him, I guess. He took the finisher, but there was never a pin cover or anything.
I read about this in the spoilers, and yet it appeared on TV, and I was still stunned. I was like, what the hell is this match doing here on my television
I
set?
felt the same way, actually.
So anyway, that was that. But Jillian was out there with a patch on. They have not canned her yet, so maybe down the road at some point. But anyway, that was that. So then we had Angle meeting with a bunch of guys.
This was the highlight of the show.
Including Paul London and Spanky, which was, if you ever want to see how Kurt Angle would meet Spanky and Paul London backstage in an event, just watch this. You'll see it.
It was a thing of beauty is the way he there's a moment's pause where he thought, do I know these guys? No, I don't. Do I care about them? No, I don't. I will shake their hands and move on.
That's right. That's exactly what he did. So
And
finally,
the best thing was, at the end of this thing, he passed by William Regal, and he shook his hand and took time to look him in the eye.
that's right.
The whole package they were put together is just beautiful.
Troubles a brewing. So then we had him meeting with Ray, who said he was going to beat Mark Henry and get a shot at the Rumble, and Angle said fine. Angle's a full-fledged babyface, if you haven't figured it out already. And then he ran into Mark Henry, and they had a little bit of dealy-bob there, and Angle threatened to beat his ass, and it was all grand. So I'm fine with all this. Tease had a meeting backstage, came out, big celebration.
The T's here is Booker and Charmel, not Master T.
That's right. I didn't know how to correct Granny, so I just didn't. So, yeah. So anyway, yeah, they had a big celebration, balloons, a golden waterfall of flaming sparks fell from the sky. It was a beautiful little thing there. So Booker gave a victory promo and talked about how he'd done it all by himself and he was the champ. And Cole was doing his ridiculous fake laugh, which killed it totally dead. And finally, out came Orlando Johnson, as we're going to call him, since nobody gives a fuck who this guy is. And he... The hell is that?
Some car going
Evil Knievel just drove around out in I-405 or 520, whatever the hell, 522. Not that anybody cares the exact number, but just fucking bear with me. I'm tired tonight. Orlando came out and did this, that, and the other thing and challenged him to a fight, and nobody gave a rat's ass. They ended up signing Orlando and Randy Orton for later in another substitution match. Didn't announce whether the title was on the line or not.
because no one cares.
Yeah, so sucked.
The only thing I have to add to this is that Booker T, the wrestling's best-dressed man, had the temerity. I can only use the word temerity to wear a royal blue suit with a pink shirt and an iridescent tie.
Yes.
It was phenomenal.
It was quite the little dealy bob right there. So then we had a promo for the Royal Rumble featuring the current World Heavyweight Champion Edge, which is quite the coincidence, leading into Fit Finlay killing Matt Hardy. Just killed him. Got DQ'd for excessive beating, like in Mexico, and then said, oh, you want to DQ me? I'll show you why you should DQ me, and excessively beat him more.
Oh, yes.
So, yep, sucks to be Matt.
Yeah, I was surprised.
There's a news flash for you.
Yeah, that's this week's news update, is that it sucks to be Matt Hardy. I was surprised at how even this was, and because it was even, it was actually pretty darn good.
It was just a match where it started out and no one cared, and by the end they were into it.
Exactly.
Which we've talked about a little bit on the board in a certain thread about, that's how you know you can work.
Yeah.
That's the difference between being John Cena and coming out because the kids love you and they cheer you the whole match, and coming out and working to the point where the people are going nuts at the end.
Yes.
There is a rather large difference. So then we had Ray Jr. and Mark Henry in a number one contenders match for the Rumble, and Henry did a fine job here for being a giant brick wall.
I was going to say, last week when you said he had not improved at all, you got to give him a little credit.
I was over-exaggerating last week. He has improved somewhat.
He is now, he was useless before.
He is no Vader.
No?
He is no Brock Lesnar.
Absolutely not.
But he is no 1996 Mark Henry.
That's exactly right.
There we go. So, yeah, he did fine. He was a big wall, and I've seen a lot worse walls, one of which was just fired, named John Heidenreich.
Oh, yes.
Eddie did, rated all his stuff as people chanted Eddie, and it was fine. And he did actually...
The finish was really cool.
We also should not pass too much judgment on Mark Henry yet, because he is still working with Kurt Angle and Rey Mysterio every week, which is saying something.
It is.
So, finish was him catching a horrid frog splash. God bless Ray, but it sucked.
He was way too far away.
He did the zombie sit-up and then did a backward roll into a big slam.
All while holding young Rey Mysterio.
And that's right. And I know that some people were absolutely blown away by this, but I will say that I have taught 4-year-olds to do backward rolls, so we shouldn't get too excited about this. But it was a brand new move in the Mark Henry arsenal, and it was a hell of a cool finish, so thumbs up for this whole little deal right here.
Indeed.
And Henry is a perfectly acceptable giant monster. I will give him that.
That's the best way to put it.
That's right. The Geminis beat up Spanky and Paul London and then pinned them. I have nothing more to add, and neither does Vince. Randy Orton faced Orlando Jordan, and, you know, there are always times where I'll be watching a show, and there'll just be two dudes in the ring, and it's so obvious everything that's wrong with it. They're both heels. Or at least they're supposed to be. Perhaps Randy Orton's turn and we're unaware of it. Both heels. One guy's a heel that's done the David Young deal. He's lost match after match after match in an absurd fashion. And they bring these two guys out and they put them on SmackDown for 15 minutes and nobody gives a flying fuck. And I always think of Stephanie McMahon backstage tapping her long fingernails on like the monitor or something and going, why does nobody care about this match? Why is this not working? And turning red and perhaps shedding a tear.
It must be Randy's fault.
And I sit here and I just cackle. I cackle. There's just such stupidity.
It is.
Would it be that hard to just pick up the phone and go, hey, how's David Young getting over in TNA after his 90-match supposed losing streak? Would it be that hard to do such a thing? Would it be that hard to, just look at the on-paper feud, Orlando Johnson and Randy Orton and go, this ain't going to work here on the show tonight. Nobody did that. They just put him in there for 50 minutes.
15 minutes.
It just blew.
It blew bad. And speaking of, you were talking about Mark Henry and the fact that he has gotten better. I don't know why Orlando Johnson has not gotten better. At some point.
Yeah.
They talk about what a phenomenal athlete he is, and we have seen nothing to indicate this.
No.
Never. We've not seen one great athletic feat he's ever performed.
Yeah, we did. We did tonight. He did a pescado and landed flat on his face and his chest.
He did a pescado, and Randy Orton dodged, and Orlando Johnson, rather than land on his feet and then kind of go to his belly like a normal, sane, intelligent human being would do, he took this sternum first.
Yeah, and I don't go, hey, Orlando, good one there, buddy.
No.
I go, you're a fool. And if you watch the tape back, Randy Orton had the same laughing giggle on his face that Vince and I did, and I don't know what to say. And really, Randy Orton, he's gotten better than he was when he'd returned, and from his skinniness and such, but you'd think after all these matches with Benoit, he'd have really turned it up here.
Yeah.
Just same old Randy Orton, a little bit, I don't know.
He was dragged down to Orlando's level.
This match did nothing for me. It did nothing for anybody in the crowd.
Sold not one buy.
Strongly doubt it did anything for anybody watching at home.
I can only imagine people were turning away.
That's right. So then we had the Daivari Angle match, and I expected more. I've seen Angle kill men. He did not do this with young Daivari. Henry was out there. They actually did a comedy spot which involved Henry taking a old-school pratfall out of about 1925, and still no one cared. Because it was so goofy, everyone was just like, what the hell was that?
Yes.
And Angle put him in the ankle lock, and Mark Henry, actually it was Molina hit the ring to DQ, the DQ finish. Mm-hmm. World champion Kurt Angle could not
tap out Sean
Khosrow Daivari with the ankle lock in this match. And you're going to go, oh, well, Daivari's going to be Henry's new manager. Who the fuck cares if he tapped out?
Yes.
This night was just a night of absurdity.
It's called Granny again.
Every sense of the word. So, just sucked. This whole night sucked. All the wrestling we watched was just sucky. Actually, let me say one thing. There was another highlight of SmackDown I'd forgotten. After the Orlando Johnson match with Bob Orton Jr., whatever you want to call everybody, Benoit sprinted down to the ring. And you've not lived until you've seen Benoit sprinting in an angry manner. All he cared about was, I'm going to kill some men. He probably just finished watching Ohio Valley.
He may have watched this match, actually.
He watched.
It threw him into a violent rage.
He watched Ohio Valley. He watched this match. He probably went on a few message boards, flipped out, and just sprinted down to the ring and beat the... He just killed two men. He beat Booker T with such fury that Booker T's pink shirt was left in shreds on his body. No joke. Booker T's pink shirt was ripped to shreds. It was hanging from him. And Benoit chopped him so hard, so many times in the corner. And I suddenly feel so much better because I lived vicariously through Chris Benoit in that moment.
I had not followed through and connected the dots, but yes, we know Chris Benoit loves wrestling, thus it follows that he hates bad wrestling.
Yes.
And thus, this Randy Orton-Orlando Johnson match may have been bad enough to make him snap.
Yes, and he did. He snapped and killed them both.
Men.
He killed them with just no remorse, and it was so great. That saved this show right here.
That should be his gimmick. He should run in after bad matches and kill both men.
Everything we hate, he should stick up for.
Yes.
He should stick up for us and beat men such as Randy Orton and more so Orlando Johnson here. So anyway, that made me feel much better.
It's funniest if you picture Benoit like sitting in a chair backwards and leaning forward on the back of the chair watching the monitor, and as the match goes on, he just develops a little facial tick, and then he has to get up and start pacing back and forth, and he can't watch anymore, and then finally he has to start swearing. And then he finally is ready for his cue, and he's like...
I just picture him pounding on something and going...
no! And then finally I see him like in sprinter's blocks and behind the curtain, waiting for whoever's in the gorilla position to say, go.
Yes, and he went, and yes, it was great stuff.
Frothing at the mouth.
That saved the show. In fact, I'm going to watch that again after you go home, Vince. Probably several times on repeat and laugh harder each time, but that was good stuff. So I suppose we might as well talk about it. Dave mentioned a few days ago, maybe it was a week ago, something about how the Eddie Guerrero stuff was getting weird. I think it was about a week and a half ago.
You don't say.
Well, no.
Wasn't it weird when Big Show chokeslammed Ray in Eddie's car?
No.
It got weirder.
Well, this was the first show where...
Actually, I think I know where you're getting here.
I don't know how to explain it.
Why don't you talk about what happened?
All right. Actually was... Okay, here's how I'm going to explain it. When the lowrider thing happened, I thought, this is so bad. Mm-hmm. So tasteless. And then the choke slam on the car, the spit on the car, a couple of other things here and there. This show, we had Randy Orton saying that Eddie Guerrero was in hell. Not in heaven. He's in hell.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had the thing at the end where Randy Orton said, if I can find it here, because I don't even remember what the hell he said. I just remember it was something stupid. Oh, you have as much a chance of winning the world title at WrestleMania as Eddie Guerrero has coming back to life.
Mm-hmm.
Now, both of these things struck me in the same way that the lowrider thing struck me. I was like, sweet Jesus, this is tasteless.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that really hit me on the show as being weird was when Rey Mysterio came out in an Eddie Guerrero t-shirt.
Yep.
In the Eddie Guerrero lowrider.
Yep.
He was talking to Eddie.
Yep.
Everybody was chanting Eddie. And at that point I was like, this is really weird.
Yes.
This was all way... I thought that was all... I don't even know how to really explain what I felt about it. The stuff with... I mean, I'm numbed to the Eddie's in hell. You have as much chance as Eddie coming back to life. That stuff I'm all numb to right now. Now I'm just struck by how weird it is that this dead man...
is the most over guy in the company.
Not only that, he's still working for the company.
Yes.
They have somehow managed to turn Eddie Guerrero's ghost into a character.
And a damn popular one.
And by the way, I should note that as I'm doing this, I'm listening to myself speak in these headphones, and I'm Billy Graham. I'm trying not to be, but I just watched a bunch of Billy Graham promos, and if you hear Billy Graham in anything I say tonight, I profusely apologize. But anyway, that's the deal. Eddie Guerrero is still a character in WWE, and he's being played by Rey Mysterio.
Basically, yeah.
That's weird.
That's very weird.
That was the weirdest thing of this entire show to me.
Yeah, the whole segment was just, Ray came out and he thanked Eddie, and then he laughed at Eddie for drawing number 2, and then he said, but you were proud of me, Eddie. And frankly, that stuff bothered me maybe even more than anything Randy said. It was just so thick with the Eddie tribute, I guess, is what the best word I can think of. And it is all just weird and bizarre, and like you say, we're numb to the offensive stuff, and now it's gotten to the point where the stuff that's not supposed to be offensive is, because it's so blatantly insincere, or at least it comes off as insincere.
And the thing also at the end when he said, you have as much chance of winning the title as Eddie Guerrero has of coming back, or coming back to life.
It's coming back to life.
Exact words. I actually I wrote them verbatim. Yeah, coming back to life. You have as much a chance of winning the world title at WrestleMania as Eddie Guerrero is coming back to life. That right there, I've been thinking. In fact, everyone I'm sure probably listening to this has heard from at least one person who has said, "Is Eddie really dead?"
Yeah.
And you've had to explain, yes, he's dead. He is really, truly
Guerrero
dead.
has passed on.
As weird as it is that this is happening on TV, he's really dead. That line right there, everybody's going to be asked again.
Yep.
Everybody's going to be asked again, probably by a couple people this time. This is building up to the return of Eddie Guerrero. And he's not coming back. He's passed on. Mm-hmm. It's so strange. It's like the strangest thing I think I've ever seen in wrestling when I really think about it.
It's high on the list.
I can't think of anything more strange than this.
Than building to the return of a dead man.
A dead man being a character.
Yeah. The major character.
Yeah, the top character on the entire show.
Really, both shows.
And how is Randy Orton going to get heat? By screwing Eddie Guerrero, who has passed on.
Yes.
Eddie Guerrero's not going to get his title shot through Ray Jr.
Our lights just flickered, folks.
I don't know if that's...
Maybe that's Eddie.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know.
Anyway, yeah, we may lose power here, kids. Oh, well.
Hit save.
Been a shitty show anyway, but... No, so anyway, very weird show after that first thing there. But, I mean, as far as the deal about Eddie's down there in hell, that just... I'm numb to it. I'm just like, okay, bad, cheap, pathetic, retarded heat. What can you say about it? Said it all 24 times now. Do we really need to say it again?
No.
I don't.
I'm bored with it.
Eminem and the Mexicools versus... Oh, for the...
Eminem versus the Mexicools. For the WWE Tag Team titles. You want me to take over this match here?
Just go.
It was okay. It was, they gave it a decent amount of time, about 8 or 9 minutes, and they got the heat on
Psychosis. I got to cut you off here for a minute. I got to talk about today. I had this idea for the UFC special. I'm like, I'll do a special where I'll just call 5, 6 different guys and get some predictions for the show. Mm-hmm. Told them I'd call between 6 and 7. Goddamn thing started uploading at 7:45. It started at 6. And I hope everybody enjoyed it. And I really appreciate everybody that contributed. And I thank you very much for contributing. But when it was over, I thought, I'm never doing this again. Mm-hmm. Holy shit, what a mistake that was.
That's kind of the reaction I had when I did the year in review thing.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I started and it was going to be fun just because I was just going to call everybody and have fun getting predictions. And it was fun, but after reading off the list of names for about the 5th time, I'm like, oh, Jesus, I can't do this anymore. I've been going, and really, it was just, the show had been going for an hour, but I've been going for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
It was my second show. And then at 7:40, I'm like, I need to call Vince and tell him let's do this tomorrow. I cannot do a third show tonight. But here I am doing a third show.
Rock on.
Go for it, Vince. Help me out.
They went about 8 or 9 minutes. They got the heat on Psychosis, and then he made the hot tag to Super Crazy, who made his usual just awesome comeback, and ran wild on everyone for a bit. And eventually he went up top, and Melina hit him with her boot, and he fell down, and Mercury pinned him, and that was that.
It was a good match.
It was good. Nothing spectacular or anything, but it was good.
Your average SmackDown match, it was actually very good, I thought. But, yeah, good stuff. Thumbs up segment.
Yeah.
Then the Tees had a meeting backstage. And
guaranteed thumbs up segment.
No. There's another one.
Oh, wait. Okay.
This was the first one. This was good, but not as good as what was to come. Tees came out, they were having a meeting. Booker was on crutches, said he'd re-injured himself at the Rumble. Teddy Long walked in, and Sharmell said Booker couldn't compete. So Long said, fine, we'll compromise. There will be a substitute. Any man you want can face Chris Benoit. And Booker was very happy till Long said, if Chris Benoit wins, he gets the belt. At which point, Booker spontaneously screamed, my groin. This ruling pulled his groin, basically.
Yes.
And, you know, it was funny because right before going on the air, I was looking at a thread on our very own board about people who were down on Booker T.
Really?
And I was like, did you guys watch this show tonight? This, in many ways, was the Booker T show. He was so awesome.
Every time he was on, he was great.
He was awesome in this skit. He was awesome on commentary. And he was awesome.
He was unbelievably awesome in the next skit.
We will talk about in a moment. JBL did a promo, talked about how he didn't want to face some Neanderthal or something like that, referring to the boogeyman.
Actually, his exact words were he did not want to be put in the ring with a bodybuilder so that he could give them the rub.
That's right.
It was...
Actually, the exact term he used was somebody with a body.
Oh, okay.
About that. Lashley came out and killed Chad and James Dick. And
he killed them to death.
normally when I say that a man threw another man around, it's a figure of speech. Mm-hmm. It's not in this case.
No.
He took Chad Dick and he gave him a German suplex where Chad flipped all the way over. And normally the other man, if you've ever seen Kurt Angle take this move, Kurt Angle does a backflip and the other guy just kind of throws him a little bit.
Yeah.
This was Lashley throwing Chad Dick so high that he flipped over and landed on his gut.
Yes, and
Didn't even take a bump.
he did not leave his feet.
He just stood there and threw this man.
This may have been the best suplex ever.
Yes, and he threw around both men and then pinned Chad in about a minute. And then he was destroyed with a clothesline from hell. So JBL's on a streak of putting over the black man on
He is,
SmackDown.
actually.
He's the second man now.
After his years of being the hardline Republican anti-Mexican guy, now he's returning the favor.
He's moved on to another race,
He has.
in fact. Because really there are no Mexicans left that he can beat on because Ray is somewhere else right now.
I don't think he's going to be wrestling super crazy anytime soon.
Maybe the midgets, actually. That could be next. And speaking of the midgets wrestled, it was Masquerita Sagrada versus Tsuki.
Well, Masquerita Sagrada was backstage. It was Octagon Cito in the match.
Oh, shit, that's right. I was on the promo. Yeah, they did a match, and, you know, it was fine.
That was not Octagon Cito.
If you compare this... Well, not the... No.
I don't know who that was, but...
Or it could be Octagon Cito and he's older, and we haven't seen a minis match for 4 years.
I haven't seen him in about a year or two.
The thing is, the last one we saw, I believe, was Thunderbolt Hank versus
Yes.
Pittsburgh Patterson, whatever his fucking name was.
The funny thing is, Pitbull Patterson was his name. Thunderbolt Hank was the fake name, but you've... Never mind.
I said Pittsburgh Patterson.
Oh.
Yeah. I thought I'd throw that one in there.
Very nice, very nice.
This was much better than
This
that
is
match.
much, much better than that. They didn't... Well, they did a little wacky comedy, but basically it was a Lucha Minis match with a slightly more U.S.-style pace.
Yeah.
But they did a lot of wacky high spots and a ton of arm drags and reversals and flips. And eventually the little guy got the pin.
Yes, indeed.
That would be Tsuki.
Oh, God. Then we had Undertaker and Angle doing a promo. This was actually before the minis, but I jumped forward because I was on the minis deal. They had a face-to-face promo trying to be serious, hyping up the main event of No Way Out, which sold 0 buys. And then Undertaker vanished, which better not have sold any more buys in the promo, or I'll be very upset. But I don't know. Nothing really to it. Angle tried to be serious. Undertaker was Undertaker. And what more can I say, Vince? Help me out here.
Well, it's weird.
Carry the show, goddammit.
Kurt came out at the end of Royal Rumble. Kurt was in the ring, clutching his belt and terrified. And he came out tonight playing the badass and promised to break Taker's ankle. And then Taker vanished, and Kurt was just bewildered and
Flabbergasted.
befuddled. And based on the reactions of this crowd on this night, it looks like Undertaker is going to be the babyface at No Way Out. So brace yourselves for that one.
Yeah. Then we had Ken Kennedy have a meeting with Benoit. Ken Kennedy's down probably 40 pounds, it looks like.
That's safe.
He looks so skinny. And Benoit just basically threatened to beat his ass. Mm-hmm. I was fine with that. Benoit faced Fit Finlay in the greatest moment ever on SmackDown. It was Chris Benoit versus Fit Finlay versus... Actually, I'm sorry. Booker T was on commentary, which was an added bonus.
Oh, a huge bonus.
It was so awesome. The story of the match was Benoit hit him as hard as he fucking could, and then Fit Finlay hit Chris Benoit as hard as he fucking could, and then they switched places again.
Oh, yes.
Meanwhile, Booker T was screaming, "Fight for God's sake," on commentary, and it was so awesome. And the finish was Charmel running in as Benoit was about to get the win with the crossface and hitting him with a crutch, which was the worst crutch shot ever, and thankfully Benoit hardly sold it. Bad guy stomped a mud hole in him, which I give a hearty thumbs up to.
Oh, this is a 5-star segment.
These three men can continue to be involved with each other forever, for all I care.
And this is the second time in 3 weeks that we've seen, I think it was 3 weeks, but Finlay came out and there was zero heat when the match started, and 10 minutes later everyone was going insane. He's the man.
He is the man. And
Benoit's the man. Booker's the man.
Benoit's the best worker in the company today.
Perhaps Planet.
It used to be, we talked about this last week, but I would like to reiterate that.
No problem.
He is perhaps the best worker in the world right now.
Yeah.
In the WWE, it was always a three-way race with Angle and Shawn.
It's not a race anymore.
Both of those two are broken down at this point, and he's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And he is so great. I don't have the words, but...
Every week.
Every
great.
week, yeah. So then we had a big little deal with Booker and Charmel. They were backstage, all happy. The Boogeyman appeared. And what I want you all to do is, if you have this on tape, because I cannot do this justice, I want you to watch this, and I want you to rewind it 3 times. The first time I want you to watch Charmel. The second time I want you to only watch the Boogeyman. And the third time I only want you to watch Booker T. And each time, you will laugh your ass off at the greatness of this wacky lucha skit.
Oh, God.
It was so awesome. And really, the best performer of all 3 was Booker T.
By far.
He was so absolutely beyond fucking great.
Words cannot do this justice, but Booker and Charmel came in and they were all happy, and we saw Boogeyman appear behind them and he started to laugh. And Booker and Charmel heard the laughter, but they were trying to figure out where it was coming from. So they, of course, are looking up and down and to the left and to the right, but not behind them. And just wacky comedy at its finest, and I loved it, and I want more of all these people.
What was the joke that Stephanie told that Steve Austin did the belly laugh to?
Something about, I think they threw Rock's belt in the river.
I remember it was something about the river.
And she said he needs Scooby to get it. And everyone, the whole alliance started to chuckle, and the camera panned right to Steve Austin.
But there was a gag. There was some sort of... It wasn't just that he needs scuba gear to get it. There was some sort of bad gag to go with it.
I don't remember. I just remember the laugh.
Okay, because we just need to know, because I was just looking at the board while you were explaining this, and Justin Shapiro believed that he found the Raw in question where Austin did the exaggerated laugh. And he found one, but it was not the one.
I remember the one. I don't remember the gag, but it was... Well, it was the
Alliance. It did involve... I do remember the belt and the river.
It was the summer of 2001. It was in the locker room.
Yeah. Thanks, Vince, for further... What the hell good does that do us? We need a little more than that. Anyway.
Sorry.
Little...
Oh, Jesus. God. Lights flickering again.
I feel like Kevin Nash and DDP.
That was an awesome promo.
Happened again. Things aren't looking good, kids. Thankfully, my computer has battery, so we'll be able to save this. If
I'm going to investigate what's outside here.
How are you going to do that? Look out the window?
Yeah.
It's dark, and rain is falling.
Well, rain's falling hard.
Oh, if you open that door and get sucked out, I just want you to know I'm going to just shut the door and keep doing the show.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh, dear.
Is it bad? All right, come over here and talk for a little while. I'm going to go investigate myself. I'll wait till he gets... There we go.
Okay, I won't say it's raining as hard as I've ever seen it. But it is raining. And as Brian has noted, I mean, it's raining really hard.
Holy Christ.
And it's been raining in this godforsaken city for the better part of the last 2 months. And there's a ditch I drive by on the way to work every day, and this week the ditch started to overflow. And so I basically have to drive through a river to get to work. And now it's going to be worse than that. We drove by a lake, small lake, by our good friend Craig's house for the Royal Rumble. And
Quit
the lake
bullshitting the people. Finish up.
And the lake was, 4 feet higher than it used to be.
It is seriously raining so hard outside that we're going to get the 1 inch by the time this show's over.
Oh, yeah.
It is pouring. It is absolutely pouring. And the lights are flickering. So, if you never hear from us again...
We were hit by lightning.
We were hit by a tree fell on us or something.
A tree fell on us.
Good God, the end is here. Let's get moving.
Yeah.
Let's go down fighting. Where the hell am I?
Somewhere in the middle of SmackDown.
Oh, the
Boogeyman.
Now talk about the network guy and Paul Burchill.
Do I have to?
Yes.
Okay, the network guy's
Because
back.
you hated it way more than I did.
The network guy is back. Regal and Paul Burchill were there with the network guy and Teddy Long. Teddy Long said he wanted nothing to do with the segment and left, which I thought was brilliant. The Englishman explained that they did not want to be a tag team anymore. No reason for this was given. They just said they were still happy and friendly.
Well, it's a tag team. They never get TV time, so.
Well, there is that. But anyway, Regal pointed out that his family was nobility, which I don't think is true, but whatever. And Burchill said that his family could be traced back to pirates. And something about his great-great-great-great-great-granduncle was a first mate for Blackbeard the Pirate. So he vowed that he would be a pirate and would be a pirate on SmackDown. And the network guy thought this was great, and Burchill left. And the part that I really hated about this was Regal's next line was, "Thank God he doesn't come from a family of proctologists." Yeah, that is, and Regal. If you read Regal's book, he's a big fan of comedy. Which means he knows how bad this line was.
Yeah,
he tried his best, but he failed.
He did fail badly. So then we had the main event, which was Kurt Angle and Rey Mysterio versus Randy Orton and Mark Henry. Vince, let me ask you a question. This match was 15 minutes long. Angle was in for 10 of it. Sold a long time. How many flat back bumps did he take in this match? And this is a two-part question. How many three-part question? Well, two-part. How many flat back bumps did he take in this match? And how many of those flat back bumps did not involve a move that he performed?
Okay, the only one I remember for sure is the Angle Slam. So 1 and 0.
He didn't do an Angle Slam.
He did.
No, he didn't.
He gave one to Henry.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
So that's what I remember is 1 and 0. I don't remember him taking any body slams or suplexes or
Angle
clotheslines.
took 3 bumps in this match. He took the Angle Slam on Mark Henry,
which is one he gave.
He took a German suplex, which he also gave. And the third one was he took a knee to the gut and did a flip bump.
Okay.
Those were his 3 bumps in this entire match. This man is not feeling well.
No.
He was on the mat a lot, and they found a bunch of very creative ways to get him down there without him having to take a bump. I thought I would mention that, but he eventually chased Daivari backstage, and then I guess Henry followed Daivari, so ended up with Ray and Orton in the ring, and Orton pinned him clean with Cradle. 1, 2, 3.
He reversed a wacky lucha roll-up and pinned him.
That's right.
And up to this point, we're fine with it.
And
the show had ended right here. Great.
And then he cut his promo.
And then he cut his promo, which is short. And he said, "You've got as much chance, if we cover this already, you've got as much chance of winning at WrestleMania as Eddie Guerrero coming back to life."
That's right.
So Ray agreed to fight him at No Way Out and put his Mania title shot on the line.
Idiot.
Yeah, actually.
Typical idiot babyface, but what the hell can you do? Fighting babyface, I guess how they would explain it. But yeah, that was SmackDown. So
yeah,
some good, some bad, some ugly.
And Ray's going to lose, and that makes me horribly sad.
Well, he is going to lose.
Before we move on from SmackDown, one quick point we need I want to bring up. Daivari was great tonight. I am failing, but Daivari was great. He did a promo with Mark Henry right before the match, and then when it came time for him to interfere and then run away, he was awesome there. And if he's the last manager left in the world, then he's the best one. That was the stupidest thing I've ever said.
Wow.
Think about the ground that covers.
Thank you, Vince. I'm glad that before we moved on, you got that out tonight. So let's look at the show here, the SmackDown show for this past evening. It opened up with, I don't know what actually. I don't know my notes here. There they are. It opened up with the four-way, the infamous four-way for the title. It was Matt Hardy, JBL, Chris Benoit, and Orlando Jordan to determine the number one contender to Booker T's U.S. title at the pay-per-view. The T's were there doing commentary, and Booker T was the highlight, the absolute highlight of this match, until the end when Chris Benoit made his big comeback, but he was just great.
Yeah. He was his usual fantastic, colorful, excited self. He was sweating. He was concerned he may have a heart attack.
That's right. He was sweating profusely were his exact words.
Yes. He was begging for a napkin or a wet nap.
Sure. So they had this match, and it was a four-way, and it was first pinfall ends the match, and the best part was nobody smartened up Booker T. So he kept hoping guys would be eliminated. Chris Benoit should be out of there, he'd be saying over and over, even though he, it was not an elimination match, in fact. But the story of the match was he did not want Chris Benoit to win. And Chris Benoit did win, and thus Chris Benoit will be getting a shot at the U.S. title at the pay-per-view. And all I can say about this is that I am pleased because there is at least one match in WWE that I am happy that's coming up, and that is Chris Benoit and Booker T for the U.S. title. That is really the only thing I care about in the whole company these days.
That's about true.
Try and think of another match that you care about.
At this point, they may have ruined Ray and Kurt for me, and that's not happening anyway. I don't care about Kurt and Undertaker. No, they may be it.
Raw counts, too.
What's that? Oh, Raw? No, nothing there.
There's nothing.
Yeah. Except Booker T and Chris Benoit.
Booker T and Chris Benoit. Unfortunately, Booker can't do commentary for his own match.
They should tape the match then.
And they could try the gimmick where he wears a headset.
Hall and Nash did that once. It was great.
Yes, they could try it again. I think it'd be good stuff.
I thought this match was, we talk about every week how there's nothing you can do that Chris Benoit can't have a great match in. I thought this match was a deliberate attempt to force Benoit to have a bad match, and for a while it worked. For the first 10 minutes or so, this was a complete cluster.
Yeah.
And then he made his big comeback, and all was right with the world again.
It was great.
Yeah.
So, God bless Chris Benoit, God bless Booker T, and fuck the rest of them, I guess.
Wow, that's a little harsh.
I know, I don't really mean that, but...
Good luck to you all. But you're not Benoit, you're not Booker T.
That's right. Or Charmel.
Charmel
gets best supporting worker in this feud. Teddy Long met with Booker backstage, told him about the No Way Out match, and added the stipulation that if Booker tried to get a replacement or something of that nature, if he could not wrestle, he would have to forfeit the title. And he proceeded to throw a huge fit, which was the second best thing on the show.
And I think he may have re-aggravated his groin in this fit.
That's right. He didn't scream my groin, which was the only thing that kept this down a notch from being fantastic, but it was still very good. So then we had a segment with JBL ranting and raving because he was not getting a U.S. title shot or a world title shot. He said he could beat anyone in the world. Upwalked Blaster Lashley.
He was also watching.
He was watching, but he walked up, Vince. Don't try and cover for me. I know when I fuck up.
That's right. I will never cover for you again.
Don't. So JBL basically said, "Are you challenging me?" Because Bobby Lashley said, "You and me, no way out." So I guess JBL had to confirm that this was in fact it wasn't a lunch date or something of that nature. So then, what's-her-face, Mole Girl, who no longer has a mole, popped up and said, "Of course we'll take that match," because JBL said he could beat anybody. And JBL was very, very unhappy with her for making that particular decision for him.
Yes, he was. And that's pretty much all there is to say about that.
I actually knew there was nothing that you could add to that, and I deliberately paused to make you look like a fool.
That actually makes me feel a little better, frankly.
Well, I thought that you might be able to throw something in, like Jillian's still wearing a bandage and it's been 4 weeks. You could have made some sort of comment.
I didn't notice because the bandage was away from the camera.
God, you're an idiot. Melina met with Matt Hardy. And why don't you talk about this so you have something to talk about, Vince?
Well, Matt Hardy was there selling his arm that was tapped out 10 minutes prior, and Eminem walked up, and they were making fun of him, and I thought for a second they were going to get to be Eminem, and then, of course, my dreams were dashed as Melina sent them on their way to go do whatever they did. And Melina sat down next to Matt and basically offered condolences on his loss and suggested they work together in the future.
She didn't say that, actually. She said, "It's too bad you're on a losing team.
She did say that.
If you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours." She may have just had an itchy back.
I hadn't thought of that. She may have found some poison ivy.
That's right. We don't know what she meant by that. It was an insinuation.
I see.
That's right.
I jumped the gun.
You did. You know, someday we're gonna have just a Vinny show. I'm just gonna have you go on your own for 45 minutes and show everybody what it would be.
Okay.
I seem to think that I think it would be great.
I think it would be the most enjoyable train wreck ever.
It could be enjoyable in a weird sort of way, as I would sit in the background and cackle at you.
You know, there's a flaw in this plan. It would involve you shutting up for 45 minutes.
No, I just walk away.
I see.
I could do it. I don't know. I may have to leave the room or something like that. We'd have to get you a guest or a co-host or something like that. You could interview Brent. Yeah, that'd be fun. See how long that thing lasts. We may do that. I have this idea now that we're just going to have a Vinny show.
Think with Brent, though.
Yeah. Or maybe I'll just pick somebody like, I don't know. Who could I pick that you would think it would be good, but it would still be awful because you would be involved. Sean? You and Sean talking for an hour? You and Jim?
No. That won't do.
Someday, kids, you just wait. Josh interviewed Daivari and Mark Henry. Try and cover for that one, Vince.
His name is Mark.
I knew you couldn't. About the match with The Undertaker later, and Henry said Angle couldn't beat him and he knew it, so the WWE went and gave his title shot to The Undertaker, that being Henry's title shot. Henry was very upset about this. Henry cuts a fine promo.
This was a short, sweet promo. Got right to the point. I had no problem with it.
He didn't need Daivari.
That's true, actually.
He cut a better promo than Daivari, I think, in this little deal here. But
I'm kind of sad Daivari is speaking English now.
it's too bad that, well, UPN said they didn't want
I guess they had to.
the terrorists back, so he had to come back and pretend to be American or whatever. I guess he is American, but
His name was Sean.
Sean. He's Sean again. You know what they need to do is they need to switch this around. You don't have Daivari talk for Henry. Have Henry talk for Daivari, and then Daivari does all the work in the ring.
That would be a vast improvement.
Yeah. They don't think like that. They think differently. Eminem faced Spanky and Paul London. No heat. Decent wrestling. It was a velocity match.
Yeah.
And all I got to say about this match was Spanky and Paul London have this gimmick where they wear just shorts. I don't know what their gimmick's supposed to be. Just geeks?
They're goofs.
Are they geeks that got a job in WWE?
They're friends
and are stuck on
who
the
are goofs
internet show?
and do flips on the internet show, and sometimes they wear masks. That's their gimmick.
They wear these giant
purple leather shorts.
Well, the point is the shorts are so big that it makes them look even smaller.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So they look like little kids out there, and they had this match. In the ring, it was fine, but absolutely nobody cared. I guarantee this one was a channel changer. And Eminem won, and the ball's in your court, Vince, to explain it.
Well, they got the heat on young Spanky. They beat him up for a while, and he started to fight back with forearms, went for a tag, and they cut him off, and they hit the snapshot, and they pinned him. And the match ended, and that was his comeback.
His big comeback was to lose.
To lose.
So.
And London's big comeback was to stand there and watch it all happen.
Good job, Spanky and Paul London. Then we had Orton backstage. Said he wanted to make a comment on what he said last week regarding Eddie. Crowd chanted Eddie's name. He said he caused quite a stir. And instead of saying again what he said last week, he was going to show it. And they aired footage of the whole deal. Eddie ain't in heaven. Eddie's down there in hell. And they cut back, and Orton was gone. And then he came out in Eddie's lowrider. And he said a lot of people wanted to know if he was serious when he said he was in hell. And he said, I don't know. Maybe he's in hell. Maybe he's not. I don't know. I don't care. I said what I said to Rey Mysterio to get what I want. Plain and simple. I used Eddie Guerrero's name to get under Rey's skin. Said he was going to go to No Way Out. It would be Destiny time, win the belt, blah, 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 at WrestleMania. And I believe the fans were chanting, "We want Rey." And Orton said he was going to prove that Eddie was no saint by reading quotes out of his book, which, of course, Eddie wrote. And as he was about to do so, Rey attacked him from behind and started stomping a mud hole in him. And all I know is that there was a woman. And there was a woman who was a big fan of Randy Orton. And she just kept screaming. And this made this segment even more hateable.
I initially thought perhaps Melina had stayed at ringside to lend her voice to the proceedings, but no, it was a fan.
The only positive thing I can say about this thing, this is the only positive thing that I can say, and it really has nothing to do with really anything that they did, sort of, but when Rey attacked Randy Orton, he beat the piss out of him right in front of that girl.
That's true. That was fun.
That...
Almost to the point where she leaned over the railing to try to get a cell phone picture, and he just about hit her out of the way.
Yeah, I wish he would have taken that phone and thrown it as far as he possibly could so it would break into 1,000 pieces.
That would have been a great moment.
I don't know if I was so filled with hate because of the whole segment, because chicks scream during the shows all the time. But there was something about this one. You know what I think it was this thing ain't working. This attempt to get cheap heat exploiting Eddie. He's coming out and he's talking about Eddie, and nobody cares.
They're not thunderous boos.
No, they just sit there in silence like, why do we have to watch this? And in the silence, you could hear this girl screaming.
Yeah, she was the only one making any noise.
She didn't care about the angle. She didn't care about anything. She just cared because she thought Randy was hot and she had to scream at the top of her lungs.
Maybe if I scream louder, he'll come see me.
Over and over and over and over and over again.
It sucked.
This whole segment just needed to be axed.
Yeah.
Axed completely.
In hindsight, now that you just ran it down, I'm stunned at how long they managed to drag it out considering how little he had to say.
He had nothing to say.
I am mean and I'm fighting Ray and I don't like Eddie. And
Yeah.
this took like 8 minutes.
Yeah, it was just a truly hateful little segment.
Let's move on.
Made worse by that woman.
Oh, doubled in negative value.
So anyway, what did we have after that? Kid Cash came out to watch a match with Gregory Helms and Nunzio.
If you thought the tag match had no heat, this is an empty arena match that happened to have a few thousand people there.
I've had a revelation.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching this match, and at first I thought, why do this match? Nobody cares about it, and nobody cares about either guy.
Right.
And then I thought back to a couple of days ago when I was doing the show with Dave, and we were talking about TNA and how they try and get everybody to care about every match, and how that's a mistake. There's too much going on the TNA show.
That's true.
You need to focus more on the money players, because nobody is buying a pay-per-view to see Chris Sabin. Just like nobody's going to buy a pay-per-view to see Kid Cash, Nunzio, and Gregory Helms.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to thinking, well, I'm sort of in a corner here. Part of me bitches that these guys are out here and nobody cares, and they don't have any reason to care. Yet part of me is also bitching at TNA because they're trying too hard to make everybody care for anybody else. So I was thinking, what's the answer?
Is there a happy medium?
Is there a happy medium? And I've determined there is a happy medium. And I thought, what if we were at a Pinnacle show and we saw just two guys going out cold in the middle of the show, and they had to have a match? They're not the main eventers. They're not Dr. Tom. They're not Jack Evans. They're just two guys.
Mm-hmm.
How could they get that match over with the fans? And you know how the answer is? Just by being themselves.
Okay.
By not having, they don't necessarily have to have an angle that the company is pushing them into. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's not like, they don't have to have some sort of storyline. They don't have to have some sort of angle. They can go out there cold, and just by being themselves and being wacky, maybe you yell at the fans a little bit, maybe just do something interesting to try and get them into the match. Whereas in WWE, everybody's required to work the exact same sort of match, no matter what size you are. If you're a cruiserweight, you have to work a heavyweight match.
Yes.
Sure, you may get thrown in necktie head scissors, which Spanky did, which I was like, what the fuck was he watching? Was he watching some Antonina Rocca or something like that? Rocca? But he threw this wacky move, and the point is, everybody has to work the same. Everybody has to look the same. You're not allowed to do anything that in any way might separate you from anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
That's why this stuff sucks.
It was also, they were clearly sticking to the script, which clearly was not working. They were doing their moves in the order they had planned them out.
Yes, and nobody cared.
And that's part of the problem, too.
You can take the TNA guys, you can take the X Division guys, and some of the lower card guys. They don't have to have an angle. They don't have to have a wacky video camera. They don't have to have a wacky hairdo. Just put them in a match and let them have some fun out there.
Yeah.
And the people are going to get into it.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Don't look at me. It's not my fault.
I just want to take that video camera and break it. You know what I mean?
Did you watch Impact? It hasn't aired yet.
And I just want to cut all their hair off or something. I'm feeling very angry right now. I'm just thinking about it. Just like everybody, I just want to take all the earrings on the Prince of Punk's body and just rip them out. I want to take Dave Hebner and throw him off the balcony. I just want to. It just drives me nuts.
Wow.
It's so goofy.
Well, TNA is awfully goofy. It's true.
You got 6 X Division guys, just do a 3-on-3 match and let the guys just go out and have some fun. You don't have to have the fucking guy come out with the camera. You don't have to have the other guy come out with the wacky hair, the other guy up in the balcony watching him, the other guy in the balcony watching him with his wacky earrings and shit on. You don't need all that. It's such overkill bullshit. That's not me. That's Vince.
That was me.
I'm ready to keep going.
Keep going.
Sweating profusely. I need a napkin like Booker T. Yeah. Anyway, so this match upset me. It's just such. I don't even know the word I'm looking for. It's just like I'm watching wrestling in a hospital.
The biggest wrestling company in the world has forgotten what makes wrestling fun.
Yeah, there is no fun. It's like, we're going to put some cruiserweights out. Maybe the hardcores will be happy. Yeah, well, you failed. Then we had Crystal interviewing Palmer Cannon.
You can only imagine the charisma flowing from Brian's TV when these two were on together.
Asked about the recent merger, and she didn't even say what merger. And he didn't even answer what merger. He was just like, it's all right. He said he was really excited about the return of the juniors. Out came all the minis, Super Porky, and his ham. They all started climbing the walls and shit like that, and Porky was eating his ham. And then out came the pirate. And it was like all this stuff thrown together, and I think it was a good idea. It just didn't quite come out that way in execution. There was something missing, and actually I know it was missing from this segment. His name's the Boogeyman.
Oh, yes.
The Boogeyman was missing from this segment, but they needed Boogeyman for later on. So, I don't know.
This is throwing stuff against the wall and seeing what sticks.
Well, it was good to see Porky in his ham.
Oh, it's always great to see Porky.
But it was almost like...
Who, by the way, when he was standing next to Palmer Cannon, he actually is a junior. He fits in this division just fine.
He is.
He is very short.
And he, without saying a word, just observing the situation, had 10 times the charisma of Palmer Cannon and Crystal put together.
Oh, maybe more.
So
just Porky and his ham.
I would say this was a thumbs up segment, but not a 2 thumbs up segment. There was just
a reserved single solo thumb up.
It was a solo thumb. It could have been more.
Yeah, I guess in hindsight, maybe it should have been more, but
they should have waited till they had the full capacities of the Boogeyman.
I think part of the problem is that the pirate came in and scared the minis away. Like if you had someone, either Palmer Cannon or someone.
Here's what they were missing. I hate to interrupt you.
No, you don't.
Yeah, you're right. Here's what they were missing. It was wacky, but it wasn't wacky enough. Here's where it failed. The minis came in, they were climbing the shit, that was all cool. Porky came in with his ham, that was great. And then the pirate came in, he tore his way in and scared everybody off. But what was missing was he needed a huge, giant sword. And he needed to be...
a cutlass.
Yeah, swinging it around and kicking things up in the air and going, arr!
Arr. He never went arr.
No, instead he just came up and he said, what did he say, hello?
Hello.
Yeah, he said hello to both guys and then walked off. And I was like... You had a pirate, and that's what you came up with?
That was a half-assed pirate.
It was a half-assed.
That was the problem. If he had said R.
If he would have said R and been swinging his sword around and destroyed the set, and
had a peg leg.
Or what he should have done was like the pirate should have came with his sword and he's swinging it about, and all the minis could have run off, but Porky's fat, so he's a little slow. And he screams and he drops the ham, and the pirate chops the ham in half with his sword. Porky goes running. We get a good R.
That could have worked.
And then it fades out.
Either
that would have been fantastic.
That would have been good. The pirate could come in with his cannon and just
sure
started to fire his cannon at anyone who got in his way.
He could have blown a hole in the wall or something like that.
That would have been great.
Yeah, the pirate took this down a notch.
It did.
Because just the hello was, I don't know. We know he's a pirate. We saw it last week.
Make him be a pirate.
Yeah.
Don't make him be a half-assed pirate.
This is Chris Masters in pirate gear. Make him go all out.
Yeah, that's a great...
Be doing jobs left and right.
Great comment.
So anyway, then we had the minis. Masquerita Sagrada, Zuki, Mini Violencia, and Octagon Cito. They had a match. Fit Finlay interfered. He killed Zuki.
Oh, yes.
Oh, he killed this young man. And then basically said he was very serious about what happened in the ring, and he was going to kill no matter how big or small you were, and that was that.
That made me sad because this match is going along just fine, and the juniors division on the second try is 1,000 times better than the first try, and it's AAA minis doing lucha.
Yeah, the good thing was he did lucha comedy this week instead of the stupid American comedy that he did last week.
That's true. There was kicks to the rear end and things like that you see in lucha comedy, and it was good stuff.
I see. So then we had the greatest segment on the show. If I get the hiccups, I got the hiccups last night.
That sucks.
I have not had the hiccups in like a decade, and I'm standing there just hiccuping all over the place. It's horrible. But anyway,
Tease.
I saw her the other night.
Oh, how's she doing?
I have to tell the story because I don't know what made me think of this, but maybe Fit Finlay and the Minis or something like that. Violence, I don't know. But I saw her the other night. She was at the Barnes & Noble and I was there. She works at the coffee stand. And the funniest thing, we can get along now. We can speak without
threats to the authorities.
Sure. And she always is bringing up stuff from back in the day. And the funniest thing is we both remember completely absolutely different things.
You don't say.
I remember shit like, remember when you tried to stab me? Oh, no, I don't remember any of that.
Remember when you spilled milk on my radio?
Oh, I had forgotten about that till you reminded me, you fucker.
Don't blame me.
I'm going to tell that story real quick. One day, this was what a stellar girlfriend she was. One day, this was shortly after I'd bought a new CD player, and I'd installed it in my car, which was a Geo Metro, so we were really pimping back then. But so I had my new CD player. I'd had it for like a week. And we'd gone to the store, and being in Seattle, it was raining, so there were puddles all around the car. So I had a bunch of stuff, and she had I think all she had, if I recall correctly, was maybe she didn't have anything. The point is, I put all the groceries in the car, and somehow a 1 gallon thing of milk in a carton ended up on the seat. So she was carrying it. I remember now. She's carrying this thing of milk, all right? This 1 carton of milk. And she's going to get in the car, and there's a puddle there, and she decides she needs to jump over the puddle and land in the front seat, like it's some sort of action movie. So in doing so, she manages to sit on the carton of milk upon landing, and the carton of milk shoots out all over my brand new CD player. Milk inside, milk all over the buttons, and it's like the only thing it hit was my brand new CD player. So what do you think the end result of this was? She got pissed.
That's
she
right.
started screaming at me. She got mad at me because she had spilled milk all over my new CD player. Oh, yes. Thanks for reminding me of that story, Vince. I'd completely forgotten about that.
The end.
Oh, no, there's probably much more. Probably attempted murder. She probably tried to push me out of the car as we were driving back up the hill to her house. So anyway, yeah, we got to talking about various things, and she did not remember the attempted stabbing. There were a bunch of things she didn't remember, but she did remember a bunch of stuff that I never would have remembered myself. But it was stupid stuff, like, remember that story you wrote about such and such? I'm like, no, I don't remember any of that. I remember when you tried to end my life, though. I do recall that. So the point of this is, she once again did apologize for being a bad girlfriend. But she goes, you know what's funny is I'm still a bad girlfriend today. She goes, my boyfriend now wants to kill me. He also works at the Barnes & Noble in the music department. She goes, we fight like every other day. And it's crying, at least on my part, every other day. He's ready to kill me. And I was like, so you put me through such horrible misery, and 10 years later you can apologize for being a bad girlfriend, while at the same time still being a bad girlfriend? You understand you're a bad girlfriend, and you still manage to get in fights every other day? And she admitted she started all these fights. I'm like, something's wrong with this picture, you know what I mean? Anyway, there was a point to this.
I have no clue what it could possibly be.
All I remember was that
You're talking about the juniors, and suddenly you started talking about her.
Well, no, this is what I remember. I remember I left the bookstore, and I'm walking back to my car, and she'd said something. And as I'm walking back to the car, I'm like, I've got to tell this story on the show tomorrow. And I can't remember what it was now.
That's the whole point.
That's the whole point.
That's awesome.
So I started telling, and I thought maybe if I started going back to it, I might recall what it was that I had to tell here.
Didn't work, though.
This story. No, didn't work at all.
That's sad.
Anyway, so that was exciting. So yeah, go on. Talk about Undertaker and Mark Henry. Maybe I'll think of
Do I
something.
have to?
Yeah.
That wasn't that bad.
It could have been significantly worse.
It could have been significantly worse. Mark Henry still has difficulty running the ropes. Maybe I should cut him some slack because he is 400 pounds.
I would like to read this message from Blue Fist. Sorry to interrupt again. The thread is Eminem is very refreshing. I don't know if this is supposed to be a joke or if he's dead serious, but everybody's praising Eminem. Then Blue Fist writes, I really think Nitro will be a major single star within the next 10 years.
That's wow.
That struck me as comedy. I think probably because upon reviewing the show, I don't even think there's going to be wrestling in 3 years.
That could be part of it, too. 10 years is a... Think about 10 years ago.
Think about 10 years being in the WWE, the same promotion for 10 years.
Yeah. No, there's no way. No.
If he's not a major star within 3 years, he's fucked.
Yeah.
He'll be cut like the Heartthrobs. So anyway, go on, Vince.
Oh, I'm still sad about that.
Why?
Because you know how great they were in OVW.
I know, but there was no hope.
I know.
They
but
were never going to let it happen, so they're better off being gone. We can talk about how stupid it was that they fucked it all up, but can't really be sad that they cut them. They would just be being... We'd have to watch them as the lame heartthrobs for another 2 years.
Well, I don't want to see that.
So there you go.
I want to see the Heartbreakers be gay again. I want to see them be gay in TNA or ROH, which would be great comedy.
Well, maybe they will. So maybe it's a good thing they've been cut.
Well, that made me happy then.
Go on.
That would pull me out of my funk. Oh, let's see, what else? There was a point in this match where it was saved by great editing where The Undertaker set Henry up for his leg drop on the apron, and Henry immediately rolled over, and Taker turned around and saw him roll over and just froze and couldn't believe what he saw, and suddenly there was an edit, and Mark Henry was back 5 feet over to the other side and on his back again.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I would like to interrupt you once again. I've
Please
got an
do.
announcement to make. You were doing a shitty job. I'm sorry. Michael Coughlin, I would just like to wish you a happy 23rd birthday. You are 23 today.
Happy birthday, Mike.
Happy birthday, dude. I hope you have a wonderful birthday. It is 1:13. I was trying to see if he was actually... I don't know if I can say it so his parents aren't listening. Making love as we were doing this show because he had threatened to do so at midnight and at after dinner or something like that. But I'm afraid we missed it. He's
We missed the nookie.
It's 4:13 a.m. over there right now. So
I hope you thought about us.
hopefully not during the act. You pervert, Vince. Jesus. Go on, finish talking about Mark Henry.
Undertaker pinned him.
I have nothing more to say about it. So what happened afterwards?
Eminem ran out. They had the big melee with the three of them, and then Undertaker and Angle ran out to make the save, and he ran wild for a bit.
Anger? Like
Anger.
Kurt Anger?
Kurt Anger. That would be awesome. No, sadly, his name is still Kurt Angle. He came out, and he gingerly threw some suplexes, and Henry cut him off, and Taker ran off Henry, and Undertaker and Kurt stared at each other with a belt for a bit, and then Teddy Long came out and made the match for next week. It was Eminem and Mark Henry against Undertaker and Kurt Angle.
You are the very definition of a fountain of charisma, Vince.
I know.
Just wanted you to know that.
That's why I'm the co-host.
Co.
What
do you think that means? You think co means lesser?
I'm not the host.
Yeah, you are. You're the co-host. That's what the word co means.
Well, what would you call Ed McMahon on the Tonight Show?
He's a sidekick.
Okay, I'm the sidekick then. That's what I am.
You're a co-host. You're
Fine, I
supposed
used
to
the
be a
wrong word.
co-host. No, you're supposed to be a co-host, and you're being a sidekick. That's your fucking problem.
You know, someone made a post about how much they enjoyed this show because they liked they liked intelligent wrestling conversation. And
Did
I
they
said,
really say that about this show?
They did, and I said, well, I hope someday we deliver it. Today is not that day.
No, we've been doing fine. We talked for 30 minutes about SmackDown.
That's almost as much time we've spent watching.
All right, SmackDown. Ray faced Sylvain Grenier.
Mistake number one.
Speaking of hatred, this sucked.
Oh, yes, it did.
Here you've got Sylvain Grenier, a fucking jobber who's not even going to be on the WrestleMania card, going toe-to-toe for like 9 minutes with Rey Mysterio, the number one contender.
Yep. Sylvain came out and he cut a promo, and I thought
Fucking
Ray is
so retarded. Go on.
Thank you. I thought Ray was going to pin him in 30 seconds and make him look like a goof, and I thought that would be fine. And no, they had a back-and-forth match that was largely Sylvain beating up Ray.
It sucked.
Oh, God. Just phenomenally stupid.
Then it gets better. Out came Orton. He said, I would come down and beat you up had I not suffered a concussion next week. He's standing there in nothing but his underwear.
He was in his gear, ready to fight.
He's in his gear. And then he went to the back.
And we never saw him again.
We never saw him again. This is the final show before the pay-per-view. That was the big angle.
Oh, yes.
He came out and yelled at Ray and left.
And Ray stood and watched. And then he went to commercial. Get your credit cards out, folks.
I cannot even believe how bad the stuff is we watched tonight. Now that I'm actually looking back, and the only shining light was Vince McMahon, Shawn Michaels, Fit Finlay, Booker T, and Chris Benoit. Mm-hmm. Name something else. Nothing.
The main event of SmackDown was okay.
No, it wasn't. It sucked. That was all right. So anyway, Ray was backstage fuming. Angle said he'd be privileged to face him at WrestleMania, blah, blah, blah. Up walked Mark Henry. Said he was going to beat up Undertaker and an Angle later on. And you know.
And that's it. It was another good giant scary man Mark Henry promo.
No, you know what else I noticed was, what's the fucking guy's name, his manager?
Daivari.
That's right, Daivari. He barely said a thing.
Yeah.
I'm hoping they actually go with my idea, that Mark Henry's the manager and Daivari does the work.
I would have no problem with that.
We may see. So then we had Orlando Johnson in the ring.
No, you're skipping something.
I am? I'm not.
The cruiserweights. Am I out of order?
Yes.
Oh, fuck.
Thank you for interrupting me. I've got notes here.
I'm sorry, I won't speak anymore.
Can we, you know what we need? Somebody make me a rewind soundbite. So every time Vince says something stupid, I can chastise him and then it just go bzzz, and we can just start over again. Anyway, after that segment, Orlando Johnson was in the ring. Would you like to point out his last name is actually Jordan to further bring the show to a halt?
No, it's Johnson.
Orlando Johnson was in the ring, and he said he deserved the shot at the pay-per-view, not Chris Benoit. He said he could beat any man in the locker room. Out came the Boogeyman, and they had a shorter match than Rey Mysterio and Sylvain Grenier.
Oh, yes.
The Boogeyman beat him rapidly, and that was the end.
Yeah, they have to protect Boogeyman, but go ahead and have Ray go toe-to-toe with Sylvain.
Sylvain Grenier. Then Vince, there was a skit in the jobber locker room, thank you, involving the jobbers. Took place in their locker room, and it was a skit. Why don't you describe it here, Vince?
Well, the jobbers were standing around arguing about who knows what when Gregory Helms walked through and told them he was going to show them how it was done or something. And he went out for his match.
Yeah. And the match was with Scotty 2 Hotty,
who is still employed.
They had a wretched match.
Oh, God, it was bad.
It was... What was it?
It was flat and boring.
It was two small guys doing a big man match with a bunch of rest holds in front of a crowd that didn't care.
All I could think about was Jerry Lawler's line that, at least when you were Hurricane, you were something. Now you're just a guy who sucks.
We do need a soundbite of that.
All I could think of the whole time.
So anyway, he won, and afterwards, all the cruiserweights came out, and they beat him up, and Scotty did the worm, which actually got a huge pop, so that's the only thing on the show. After commercial, Teddy met with Gregory Helms and said Sunday at the pay-per-view, he was going to step into the ring with all those guys at the same time, and it would be for the title.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's all he said. We don't know if it's a battle royal. We don't know if it's a gauntlet match. We don't know what the hell it is. He's going to be in the ring with all those men for the title. Buy your tickets now, kids.
Maybe they'll play bingo.
This is like the worst show ever.
It really is.
So then, while we're on the subject of shittiness, out came the pirate.
Mm-hmm.
This is the worst pirate
without question
I've ever seen in my life. He said hello.
There was a much better pirate in Chikara Pro.
There's probably a much better pirate that trained with Al Snow.
Probably
Pete
is.
the pirate.
Pirate Pete, yes.
Pirate Pete. All he did was walk around and go, "Harr!"
That was a much better pirate than Paul Burchill.
And this guy, for those of you that don't read the newsletter, the 20% of you fuckers, listen to me. Here's the idea with the pirate. The pirate is supposed to be the 2006 Davey Boy Smith.
The hero of England.
The big English hero that's going to draw 79,000 people to Wembley Stadium. Paul Burchill, the pirate.
Oh, yes.
You think I'm kidding?
No.
Paul Burchill is supposed to be the next big thing in the UK. Not William Regal. Oh, no. Oh, no, no, no. Paul Burchill, the pirate.
Pirate Paul Burchill.
Yeah, the pirate.
Because apparently the English love pirates.
And all he has is a pirate outfit on.
And it's not a very good one. There's no eye patch, like Pirata Morgan.
I asked again this week. I asked last week. I asked again this week. Why is the pirate not swinging a sword and going har?
He has no parrot. He has no peg leg. He has no hook.
God is my witness. The answer was the pirate's supposed to be legit. Think about this.
Oh, yes.
This is not supposed to be an over-the-top comedy character. It's supposed to be a legit pirate.
As if the pirates in the world today still brandished cutlasses and there are pirates. I don't like to joke about it because they kill people, but
he can't have an eye patch because he's really got two eyes.
Yes.
It's got to be a legit pirate
who likes to wrestle.
It's so stupid.
It really is. It's the worst indie card in the world would have a better pirate.
Yeah. Indeed. In fact, I want everyone to type in f4wonline.com and you'll see a better pirate on the front page.
You know what? That's for goddamn true.
That's your pirate right there. Don't see me saying hello. I'm at least drunk on rum in that picture,
wearing-
unlike this pirate.
And you're wearing a pirate hat with a skull and crossbones.
That's right. Shitty pirate. So anyway, out came the T's to do commentary for the next match.
Thank God.
Oh, this saved the day. It was Fit Finlay and JBL versus Benoit and Lashley. Fine little encounter whenever JBL and Lashley weren't in the ring. Benoit and Finlay looked great. Booker T was just awesome.
Phenomenal.
After the match, he actually during the match at the end, he hit Benoit with a chair. Benoit got pinned. Of course, storyline is Booker has to wrestle at the pay-per-view where he will be stripped of the title. So afterwards, after hitting Benoit, he threw down his crutch. Charmel proclaimed it a miracle, and he did a Rumpelstiltskin dance in just the jolliest manner possible.
If there's anything better than Booker T doing commentary, it's Booker T dancing.
There's nothing better than Chris Benoit, Fit Finlay, and Booker T.
Yeah.
In the world.
These three men, this program must never end.
If they do the three-way at WrestleMania with Booker, Finlay, and Benoit, preferably with Booker having the headset on and do commentary during the match, 5 stars.
Oh, automatic.
Automatic.
I love these men.
Simon Dean was there with the Geminis. They had a match, Matt and Simon. Geminis rejected, and then Matt won.
The highlight of this match was that Michael Cole was so bored he could barely be bothered to do his job.
They were so bored.
Taz was ranting on about something, and Cole just sat there and said nothing for about 2 minutes. And finally he just said, and I quote, "Matt Hardy is in a bit of trouble here." And then someone must have yelled at him in his headset because suddenly he started working again and calling the match. But
atrocious.
He couldn't hide how horribly bored he was by the thing. And
Matt
that made
Hardy,
me happy.
Yeah, Matt and Simon.
Matt Hardy and Simon Dean with the Gemini at ringside.
Then we had Mark Henry, Eminem facing Angle and Undertaker in a 3-on-2 match, which was the oddest thing for the evil heel Teddy Long to sign. I can't explain it, but what the hell. And let me just... don't speak for a second, Vince. I just want to make sure you don't fuck this up. I'm turning you down for a second. I'm turning Granny down, too, even though she's not on. So I'm watching this match. It's Kurt Angle and The Undertaker against Eminem and Mark Henry. And Kurt Angle and The Undertaker are not really getting along, And at first they both tried to outshine each other. They tried to see who could beat on Eminem the most. And as they're doing so, Henry walked up behind them and clotheslined them both outside. Then after commercial, Angle was getting beaten on, and he made the tag to Undertaker. Undertaker made his hot tag, and then he got beaten on. Undertaker goes for the big choke slam, and Angle tags his hand. Angle gets in, throws suplexes left and right, taps out Johnny Nitro. Mark Henry gets involved, and Angle dares Undertaker to tombstone Mark Henry. And this is actually quite a dare. But Mark Henry ended up upside down in the Undertaker's grip, and Undertaker tombstoned him on his head, and Undertaker had this look of awe on his face. And it was at that moment that it suddenly hit me that these two men are headlining this pay-per-view. That was the build for Sunday. This was the final go-home show before the pay-per-view. And the big fucking hook for Kurt Angle and The Undertaker is Angle dared him to tombstone a fat guy, and Undertaker did it. Buy your tickets now.
Well said. I can't top that.
Randy Orton came out at the beginning of SmackDown gloating about how he'd won his title shot, and he was cutting this fucking boring-ass promo. This made me so angry. Randy Orton... I don't even know what to say about Randy Orton. Say something, Vince. Say something about Randy Orton.
I didn't think it was that boring.
Why?
It wasn't exciting. It wasn't good. It was.
What did he say of any value?
He reminded us all that he won. He didn't say anything of any value.
And how long would it have taken to say that? Triple H took him under his wing. That's all fine and dandy. But sweet Jesus, did he ever teach him some fucking boring promo skills?
No, that's a good point.
Name one Randy Orton promo where it was over and you were like, sweet Jesus, that was a great promo.
None.
I saw 3 fucking Osama promos this evening where I was like, that was great. I'll never forget it. And how many Randy Orton promos in my fucking life can I remember? None.
None?
0. Not one.
I can think of one. The night after he won the title when he asked all the 24-year-old men in the crowd to take their shirts off. And they were all fat and ugly like me.
I don't even remember that. Think about that.
Yes.
He insulted you, Vince.
And you forgot it.
I forgot it. So who should come out but Chavo, who beat up Randy and laid him out, and then security made the save. And all I could think, this happens like every week, but for some reason this week it annoyed me. Why?
Why?
Security.
Well, you see, he's not a SmackDown wrestler.
So what? The guys beat people up, they post people, they rape women, and all of a sudden security comes out because Chavo Guerrero gave Randy Orton some suplexes?
Well, the one thing you cannot tolerate is contract violation.
Stupid.
Yeah, it is. You're right.
Eminem versus Matt Hardy and Tatanka in a rematch for the tag team titles. It was a acceptable match. Tatanka's working very, very hard. I have no idea why the young white whippersnapper and the wise old Indian are pals. Why they're a team. I would like vignettes explaining this, please, if anyone from WWE is listening. They ended up losing, and I am making the public statement right now that if Maria fucking screams again, I will boycott their matches.
Really?
I will.
Wow.
I will start with, I will immediately fast forward a good 5 minutes every time she screams, and then it will move on to I just won't watch the matches.
Huh.
I can't, and I'm not dieting right now. I would have fast forwarded tonight if I would have been dieting.
That clearly bothers you a lot more than it bothers me. I didn't mind it at first, and then she just kept going, and it got to me after a while.
I don't mind if something happens and she just goes, ah! It's when she fucking screams for 10 straight seconds. That's
For
immediate fast forward.
No reason.
No reason.
Yeah.
This is not, boy, I want to see Eminem get beaten up. I refuse to watch these matches if she's going to stand there screaming. And I like Eminem.
Yeah. They reached the point where all they do is have decent matches. They're not like Benoit, where all he does is have great matches, but when was the last time you saw a bad Eminem match?
I have not been keeping track.
Well, it's been a while.
They're just there, though.
Yeah.
There's nothing exciting. I mean, they've always been fine. I don't remember a period where they had good or bad matches. They seem like they're just where they've always been.
My other thought was, you mentioned you want vignettes of Matt Hardy and Tatanka hanging out. I want vignettes of Eminem dressing like Matt Hardy and Tatanka and doing the parody bit.
That actually would not be a horrible idea. And speaking of dress up, Regal met with the Pirate.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
He read a letter from a young lass somewhere or other that was sad about the Pirate. And Regal basically told him to stop being a bullshit buccaneer. Sadly, he did not use that exact term. And so the Pirate gave him a bomb, which didn't blow up. And then he said, boom.
That's exactly what happened. You have not left out any detail.
At some point, a writer said, I have this idea. Regal's going to read a letter from a girl who says she's not into the whole pirate thing. It's ridiculous. And so the Pirate's going to take a bomb. He's going to give it to Regal. It's going to smoke. And it's just not going to blow up. And then he's going to go boom. And another writer goes, that's a great idea. And then every other writer wrote it. And then it fucking ended up on TV. This is the worst Pirate.
Oh, without question.
Ever, ever, ever. This segment annoyed me.
It did, and with good reason. Even the brilliance of William Regal couldn't save it. It was just garbage, and he's a lame pirate. And he'll come out soon and wrestle, and no one will care, and everyone will wonder why.
Why is the Pirate not the new Davey Boy Smith? Why is this not working?
Why is he not the hero of all Europe?
Boogeyman faced 2 dicks. This was the final night of dick jokes. I didn't even hear any. Maybe I wasn't paying attention. Boogeyman beat them, and then it was over.
That's about it. Dick's got one more big entrance to their music. They got to dance like strippers, as the announcers talked about. Everything else. Booker T was there.
That's right, he was. I forgot. Think about that.
It was short, and he had little to say, really.
He had his awesome suit on. Boogie put worms everywhere, including all over the desk, causing Booker and Sharmell to run through the crowd and causing Michael Cole to point at them as if to say, there are worms right there.
That was a great moment. It was a great Michael Cole moment in time where all he could do was point.
Worms, he said.
Look, worms.
Yes.
Thank you, Cole. I hadn't noticed.
And then we had Ray coming out to address the public, which is you and I. He said it made him feel very happy that Eddie was going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, but he was sad he had let everybody down. Randy Orton got in his head, he said. It made him so upset that he put his title shot on the line and he lost. And he was lamenting, and he said, I want to apologize to everybody. I want to apologize to Vicky Guerrero. I want to apologize to Chavo Guerrero. Apparently he didn't give a shit about any other Guerreros. He went right to Eddie. And at that point, Teddy Long came out and announced that, in fact, it would be a three-way at the pay-per-view.
This was, as we said, the lamest possible way to shoehorn Ray into the main event. They couldn't have had him win one more match to get in there. They couldn't have had him challenge Orton again or anything. They could have done anything more exciting than this, but instead they just had the bureaucrat come out and sign his name on the line. And there you go, Ray's in. That being said...
Use that big word again.
Bureaucrat.
The other one.
Anachronism?
You're on a roll tonight, Vince.
Every once in a while.
It's going to be the Vinny V Thesaurus Hour.
Yes.
Go on.
Play Boggle.
What?
It's a word game. Oh. All right. But you could never get anachronism in. But anyway, so he announced that Ray was in the title, and this is a really, really bad promo by Ray. I thought this was way worse than Orton's promo earlier. He was...
No way.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
What
other kind of promo could he cut?
I don't know, but it bored me. Maybe it's because I'm numb to the Guerrero stuff. But I was thinking, my God, knowing Teddy was going to come out, I was thinking, my God, Teddy, come out and save this. It almost looked like to me part of it was edited, too. Like they knew it went too long, it was too boring and too flat.
All I have to say about this is, A, you just killed a stipulation, and B, you backdoored a babyface into a main event.
That's true, too.
This is dumb on a major league level. But at least Ray's one of those guys that is so popular that I don't think it's going to hurt him. I think everyone's sort of... He's that little guy.
Mm-hmm. Everyone loves Ray.
He's just that little guy.
You have to love Ray.
He needs a little help. He needs a little. he needs a little babysitting. He needs his ass pushed into the main event and that sort of thing. He just needs all the help he can get. He's just a little fellow.
Yeah.
That's it.
They did all go crazy when Teddy finally said his name, so I guess it kind of worked. And the one other detail that I want everyone to remember for later is he said he couldn't take Orton out of Mania. He couldn't take the match away. The referee's decision was final. So just remember that, everyone.
But he could put Ray in.
Yeah.
Vince, you have the worst taste in women. Crystal, sweet Jesus. She has exactly one thing going for her. That being her ass. Nothing else.
I thought you were going to say her body.
I wouldn't even go that far.
Wow.
That's it. She came out in a robe, and they gave her... First off, they gave her the worst dialogue imaginable. She didn't do herself any favors by... She basically was Pinocchio.
She's a mannequin. I've said this before.
She's not even a mannequin. I see life in some mannequins.
I see.
I saw nothing in this girl. She repeated this line like Linda McMahon.
Yep.
Normally, I am the backstage conservative interviewer, but I have another side.
Even that was too much spirit.
I'm sorry, you're probably right. I cannot bring myself to be any more boring. I will try. You all know me as the conservative backstage interviewer. I have another side.
That was much better. Much closer.
And I don't know, I still to this day, to this hour, do not know what the other side was. I thought perhaps excitement.
No, that's not it.
Nothing. So then she was going to strip, and Jillian came out, and Jillian, I don't know what she said, but Crystal's response which had nothing to do with fucking anything, was, Jillian, do you think you look better than I do in the new Divas magazine? The new Divas 2006 magazine. Vince, this woman.
I know. When have I ever said anything other than she's hot?
You're smitten with her. She's like your Maria. How can that possibly be?
Because I've told you many times, physical beauty is all I care about.
You're the most shallow human being I think I've ever met.
Yeah.
Like, you're into this.
We can't just have different tastes. You can't just let that be.
No, Vince. If you said, Brian, I've got to admit something to you, okay? I went down to Seattle. I went to John's obscene stuff store, and I bought myself a blow-up doll. I just couldn't handle the loneliness anymore. I would go, well, thank God you've gotten over Crystal.
I see.
I give you a big thumbs up. You've moved up in the world.
Wow.
You've moved up to something more resembling a human being.
Okay.
This wooden... I'm going to move on now. Anyway, they got into an argument and Crystal stripped.
And that was it.
That was the end. This was so atrociously bad.
Oh, she's awful. Don't get me wrong. I've never said she wasn't awful.
I would spend the rest of my days with Candice Michelle, I think, before I spend even one day with Crystal.
No. I can't agree
Without
there.
question. Because you don't want to know why?
Of course, you didn't see Hotel Erotica. If you'd seen that, you may change your mind.
No. No, I wouldn't. I assure you, because I saw Candice Michelle on The Tonight Show.
Yes.
Airheaded, absolute bimbo. The most airheaded bimbo I've ever seen, maybe. But you know what? I could at least laugh. I could giggle. Because there's something there. Mm-hmm. There's something there. A mannequin would not bring me such laughs.
Fair enough.
She actually has a personality. The personality is an absolute airheaded bimbo. Conversations would have to be very, very, very simple. But at least I could actually speak and get some sort of response. I'm not sure that could happen if I spoke to Crystal.
No, you would get a response. It wouldn't register because she would say it in a monotone, low, boring manner, and you'd be paying attention to whatever was going on behind her.
I would need to pray that our life was lived in a cave where I could hear the echo of my own voice. Because there would be no other company.
It would. It would be like Castaway all over again. She would be there and you still have no one to talk to.
Let me say this. We actually have a cough button, but I'm too far away. Let me say this. There have been a lot of girls that have been introduced to WWE that I have just automatically hated because they were backdoored in. Christy Hemme, initially hated that woman. Mm-hmm. Ashley, initially hated that woman. But they grew on me.
Especially Christy.
I had quite the little crush on young Christy Hemme by the end, and I love Ashley.
Do you really?
I don't love her, you know what I mean? But I love her. I felt very bad when she was injured. And
well, you can sympathize with her.
Sure, and I have no problem with her. I'd rather see her there than a lot of people.
Okay.
With that said, the day will never come where I have turned the corner on Crystal. It won't.
All right.
It will not ever come.
Hold air.
And if it does, you may mock me on this show. And we will take the soundbite and we'll play it every day. Just so you can laugh at me and say that you proved me wrong. Never happened.
Perhaps you think I care about proving you wrong.
You do.
I see.
I know you do, Vince.
I see.
I understand how you work. Then we had Orton doing an interview with Teddy backstage, flipping out. And go ahead, Vince.
Well, Randy Orton was upset, of course, about young Ray being inserted in the Mania match because, well, partly it steals his limelight, but theoretically it makes him harder to win because now he has to beat Angle and Ray instead of having to just beat Angle. So he was upset and he was angry and yelling, and Teddy said, "Listen, your match is up next, and if you don't get out there right now, I'm going to take you out of the Mania main event." Now, less than an hour before this, he had been in the ring with Rey Mysterio saying, "I can't take Orton out of the main event." So the incontinuity editor reached his career peak tonight.
He struck with a vengeance.
This was it was the perfect achievement. There was a perfect 10 on the incontinuity scale. They forgot their own history in less than an hour.
I should also note that just before the incontinuity editor struck, Teddy Long announced Angle Undertaker 2 for free next week on SmackDown.
Yes, for free. And not even on the Saturday night's main event show they got coming up. They couldn't make it even that high profile. It's just on SmackDown. After they spent the whole show with a big long highlight package and Michael Cole and Taz talking in hushed tones about how great it was to be part of something historic. I mean, they really tried to make the match from Sunday seem like something special. And then the rematch is just on Friday.
Free.
1 week build.
Yep.
Enjoy.
Ray and Benoit Blaster beat Randy, Fit Finlay, and JBL in a fine little main event encounter. Nothing exceptional, anything like that. They, of course, set up the 3 undercard matches for the pay-per-view, those being Ray and Orton, and of course Angle, Finlay and Blaster Lashley, and Benoit and JBL, which I give the big thumbs down to, unless they turn that into a tag team match, perhaps, and insert maybe Booker and another man into a final 6-man. I'd be okay with that.
You know, I was going to ask how you could call Ray Orton Angle an undercard match, and then I thought about it and I said, "Oh yeah."
Actually, I think it's going on last.
Oh, is it?
I fucked up basically.
Okay.
That's the answer.
Sorry, didn't mean to expose you.
Anyway, that's not the worst job of exposing that has been performed on me today. When I accidentally called David Bergen, and he loudly chastised me. Anyway, the finish was odd. Benoit drop-kicked stairs into JBL's hand and apparently broke it. And Ray did a springboard splash. I got the report that JBL had a broken hand and was going to be getting surgery. And I got the report that it happened at the SmackDown tapings. And I watched this, and I don't know what the hell happened. I cannot fathom that he put his hand in between the steps and the post to do an injury angle, and it went awry and he actually broke his hand. I find that impossible to believe.
That does seem surreal and bizarre and unthinkable, but as best I can tell, that's what happened.
In a way,
I thought, my first thought was, because JBL was on his knees, and when Benoit came to kick him, he kind of moved aside, but his hand was in there. And my first thought was that he was supposed to dodge, and then his hand either got stuck or he was too slow or something.
Here's the other reason he wasn't supposed to dodge. We discussed this earlier. When you said he was supposed to dodge, my question was, well, what was Benoit supposed to do? And your theory was, well, he went to drop kick him and JBL was just going to move out of the way. Okay, so if that was the planned spot, Benoit would have just drop kicked the steps and then what?
I don't know.
Sold his feet?
Sure.
If someone's going to move out of the way of the steps, someone's going to go head first or shoulder first into him.
Okay.
So this was not a spot where JBL was supposed to dodge. He was supposed to get his hand in there and have it drop kicked against the pole. I just couldn't figure out did he break his hand before the match and that was the injury angle? I can't fathom them actually doing something so stupid and actually breaking his hand on a supposed fucking injury angle.
I don't know what was going on, and then Michael Cole started bringing up how JBL banged Benoit's hand against the steps last week. So, who knows? It was weird, and they went straight home, so it was an odd little deal.
It was a very odd deal.
But an okay match.
Or they could be just working on some whole surgery, but I don't think they are, because supposedly they had footage. I didn't actually watch the footage. I didn't need to see a scalpel going into JBL's open flesh, but I will try and find out and alert everybody, but as of right now, I have no clue what the hell went down there, but it was odd. But like I said, fine main event, nothing bad. Ray pinned JBL, springboard splash. Everybody was happy. I guess this proved he earned his spot in WrestleMania or whatever, but it was not... I was warned this was a very boring show. It was not nearly as boring as I had been led to believe, except for the Orton promo, which was just shit, if I do say so myself. And yeah, that's that.
A decent but totally forgettable show.
I don't know if I'd go that far.
All right, a decent but kind of forgettable show?
Yes. There are many shows where I would actually state outright, that was absolutely forgettable. This, Benoit broke JBL's hand.
Well, there's that.
We won't be forgetting that anytime soon. Not to mention the Cruncher commercial. I'll be remembering that one for a long time to come.